Because I thought you might have, you would have, maybe.
Yeah. Woke up.
Done, son. Yeah, King Chalk Entertainment. Here we go. If you haven't already, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Check us live and become a part of the show on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, Wednesday and Thursday at 11 p.m. and Friday and Saturday at 1 a.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. While you're playing the game, working out, cleaning, or whatever, check out the more refined audio versions of the show on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, and more. Keyword King Tracker ENT. Yeah. Shouts out to Pat, Doc, Deuce, Curtis, Brendan, Elliott, Juanita, Jay Lethal, Tariq, my Twitch follower, Francisco, and others for always supporting the channel. Yeah. Race, spirituality, politics. Let's talk about it. We generate interest into what has happened and what is happening in our world. Therefore, creating activists. Let's go. Dale gas, baby. Hey.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi. Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así. Mueve, muevo, mueve.
Hey, you, mueve. We up in the place, mueve. We up in the place, mueve. We up in the place. Mueve. Hey, you, mueve. Make your body shake, mueve. Make your body shake, mueve. Make your body shake, mueve. Hey, you, mueve. We up in the place, mueve. We up in the place, mueve. We up in the place, mueve. Hey, you, mueve. Make your body shake, mueve. Make your body shake, mueve. Make your body shake, hop, hop, jump, skip up on the floor. If they didn't know, then we gon' let them know. Drop low, giving them a show. We gon' give them something that they never seen before. Hop, scotch, 784. Bouncing on the beat while keeping the flow. Stop, watch, freeze and go. Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you eating off the floor. Pop, lock, do it by yourself. You know you the best, you don't need nobody else. Rock, hip, toast to success. You was born a winner, so you never nothing less. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Para ti.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Te gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. When we come through, make you move just a little. Clap, snap, do it from the hip. You can do this whether you stand or sit. Pump, fist, do it with your wrist. Pump it back and forth like you trying to catch a fish. Hip, twist, do a finger kiss. Rocking back and forth as you make your body shift. Top, tick, do it like you sick. 2 + 4 is 6, and that's a ripper thick. Top, 6, we gon' let it rip. We got your attention and we not gon' let it slip. So hands up, move your head and know what's up. Now it's shoulders rolling while you showing them your stuff. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
Dime
wiggle.
qué tú quieres, papi.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Quieres
wiggle,
que lo
wiggle.
mueva para ti?
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle,
¿Te
wiggle,
gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We come through, make you move just a little, 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 just a little.
And now, another
Yeah.
major production.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some crickets. Yeah, hurry honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. Yeah, forget the $1 million mission. Sometimes I just want to go fishing instead of physically grinding in the trenches. Finding me using my knowledge, intuition. Yes. Yeah, Chaka not talking while he so distant. Yeah, Chaka be talking but they don't listen. Yeah, he's sitting, his brain pumping like a piston. I've been chasing the twilight, now I've been bitten. The city's in my sights as if I was a pigeon. Your role is cast, your dialogue is written, it's past control. You're like a Sims minion, what to do now but roam around in and out of buildings. Seemingly living, touching ceilings, but there's no feeling. Willing and dealing, but really there's no winning. I'm sinning and sinning, so what I'm defending stuff's like prison, stuck in the life out of living. I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some crickets. Yeah, hurry honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. They say they do it for the money and the power. I'm just trying to get some peace in the shower. Protect what's mine without being a coward. Watch loved ones take time to breathe in the flowers. I've seen these G's get knee deep in powder because he needs to succeed in ours. Fuck your lifestyle, it's weak and it's sour. Fuck your lifestyle, it's weak and it's sour. Watch I come through and do like I do. Watch he come through and lose like he do. I'm a Hebrew, he just evil. We both hate people and church steeples. One thing certain, demons lurking. They be stressing, we be surfing. She be twerking and it look like it's hurting. I be perping, close the curtain. They give you lithium to get rid of that shit? I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some crickets. Yeah, hurry honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. I'm about to tell you what the real is. Deep down inside, you got to feel it. Emotions have the most number of killings. Pay close attention to your feelings. I'm about to tell you what the deal is. And when I'm talking, all I'm hearing is some crickets. Yeah, hurry honey, run and get your ticket. Just getting money is not always the business. Yeah, you boys think you real. What is real? Whatever it is, it's not you. For real. You know what I'm saying? KCE, we coming. It's the takeover, bitch. Y'all ain't ready. This is some whole new shit. For real.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, We want you to be an activist. And don't take my word for it. Look that shit up. Police. How y'all feel? How y'all feel? What's good? We're back. We're back. We're back. Thursday edition. King Chaka ENT. Y'all know what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about random ass shit. if you're not new to the show. So Supreme Court blocks mandate and dang it, what's the other part of the show? I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't leave notes for this. The Supreme Court blocks the COVID mandate officially or whatever. That news came down. So I wanted to kind of talk about that a bit. And the other thing was, damn it, what is it in the title? Oh yeah, the Oath Keepers, leader from the Oath Keepers, he got charged with seditious conspiracy or whatever. That's a serious ass charge. And so the related to the January 6th events. And it also shows how like the FBI is really digging into this because they had to pull some encrypted messages. And this guy wasn't even on the scene on January 6th. He wasn't even in DC. But he was directing some shit. So they got his ass. So we're gonna talk about that. And other random things. It's quite a bit of news that's been popping up. It's quite a bit of random things that's been kind of on my mind. I watched quite a few videos today on YouTube about this, that, and the other. Thinking about like humans in the future. Type 1 or type 2 civilizations, if y'all know anything about that. And how, the evolution of man and how like the idea that maybe we're a leftover civilization from like a type 2 or a type 3 civilization that was here before. And life on Earth is just kind of like a leftover, like coming back from that. The idea of that is pretty crazy to me. It makes my mind want go into. What's up, Pat?
What's up, man? That should just flip my head out.
Yeah,
Shit, I mean, just trying to wrap my mind around that even being a possibility.
because again, like we always talk about on this show, it's so hard for us to understand deep time. So even with the fossils that they have, they only go back so far because the geological systems that we have on Earth, it fucking recycles everything. You know what I'm saying? So it could very well have been like all kinds of these kinds of like structures or whatever. And because you know that the Pangea, right? All the continents were together, like we can prove that. But that shit happened over such a long amount of time that it's really hard for us to, wrap our brain around that.
Yeah, well, it's not so hard for me to wrap my mind around that part, or like, I mean, or even like the history. Now, I mean, just going, just depending on how far you talking about going into history, it's some things are just kind of hard to relate to because, yeah, it's like stuff that happened so long ago and it's so far out of touch of, our reality. But I mean, as far as just, you know, I mean, history is history. Like I can't, is the perception of it, trying to, I mean, for any human being that's, here for 30, 40, 50, up to 100 years, it's going to be, as far as actually, being able to, I mean, you visualize certain things and you can imagine, the state of our world during different time periods. But when you're talking on the conversation of just being a leftover, like almost like a junk recycled human, it just kind of like, wait a minute, whoa, that's kind of a out there thought. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess, and I guess really, because I mean, I've already, I guess, based on the universal laws that I, you know, subscribe to, as far as, your spirits being recycled, and, but it's, we're still coming through a live womb each time, is where that, I guess, kind of messes up for me, when you're saying it's just like some leftover, you know, civilization or whatever, you know.
Well, it's because I think a lot of people really don't understand evolution. So, like, and then the argument of a lot of the seeds of life, what caused the spark and all of this? You know, you saw that movie. What's the name of that fucking movie? I can't think of the name of it, so it don't matter. But yeah, so like evolution, like things happening over time. That's what I'm talking about. And then Pangea was Pangea more than once. The continents have crashed together, broken apart, and crashed together again and broken apart again. At least two times. They know this for sure. And so, but that happened over a really, really, really long period of time, you know, and just like you think about the evolution of
Well, let me
you
let me
know
give this for let me give this for an possibility, because what if they're all still connected today, and based on our perception, because like the way the Earth tilts, because I think, like, based on some different things that um you know we're like supposed to be looking at coming to pass in the near future. Like, I don't know, like in 100 years, 50 years, 25 years. You know what I'm saying? But we're supposed to be, like, just based on the different angles in which the Earth may spin, and the rebalancing of the ocean or the seas, that there's maybe we're still connected, but the waters will redivide how we interact with this Earth.
the my brain just go, my brain just starts going because it's clear that we live on an ocean planet, and that's the thing that we tend to forget because we always walking on this land. So we live on an ocean planet, so like the water is, it dictates everything literally. You know what I mean? It's we live on a water world, and then if you think about the earth being alive, then it's like the ocean is a huge part of that. So and then it's water. And then liquid water is amazing anyways. The more you study liquid water, the more you scientifically, spiritually, however you look at it, it becomes really, really, really deep. So yeah. They say water has memory. Have you ever heard that before?
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, I know it's alive because, like, of the studies of the frozen water, and the whether it it crystallizes, or if it you know like, because, like, if you talk to it bad, it'll form into, like, it'll have cracked up, broken up pieces. But if you talk to it sweet and kind or whatever, it'll
Right.
give more of a pure, clear freeze. So I mean, that I can kind of relate or understand, because, or I'm just saying, like, I guess I can't, because I mean, I guess understand is a one way to express that. But you know um just based on that idea is just kind of like, okay, it has to have some feelings or some, it has to be alive, you know what I'm saying? Or, to be able to have those different structures just based on how it's treated or how you talk to it.
Yeah, that's interesting stuff. There was something up here I wanted to, let me see. Oh yeah, I'm curious to know what the hell this nigga is saying. Let me play this.
And you still got corona, you dumb fucks have commented on me getting coronavirus by saying, how does it feel being vaccinated and you still got corona, you dumb fucks, you? Nobody, not one person, Fauci, Pig Dick Donald Trump, your hero Alex Jones, nobody said if you get vaccinated, you won't catch corona, you dumb fucks, you. You're so dumb.
You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. These vaccines are highly, highly effective.
Vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
They're really, really good against variants.
Everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
Get your first shot, and when you're due for your second, get your second shot.
Our key goal is to stop the transmission, to get the immunity levels up.
Fucks have commented on me getting coronavirus by saying, how does it feel?
Nobody said that, huh?
Those comments didn't age well, did they?
Not at all. Not at all. And I believe when I got it from somebody with
Vaccinated.
that was vaccinated, yeah.
Yeah. Let me play this African dude. He is funny to me. But he's hit or miss.
Understand.
New Year knowledge.
Or whatever.
Oh yeah, I like when he does these. These are my favorite skits he does.
Welcome to another African proverb nobody will understand.
New Year knowledge.
Or whatever.
Lord. A man standing beside a baboon is not looking in the mirror until a goat decides to watch TV.
Can somebody call me an Uber? I don't care if it's surging. What the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't know your girlfriend does so much charity work.
What?
Because last night when I saw her in an alley with your friends,
oh, come on.
I said, look at this girl on her knees praying for these 5 men at this time of night.
You're an absolute dickweed.
What?
Okay. Welcome to another African proverb.
You ever saw his stuff? Those kids are like, you know how like and Caribbean people do it too, and black people here do it too. It's a diaspora thing. But he's talking about Africans when they be saying these proverbs, when they be saying these like sayings that don't make no damn sense. They're supposed to sound all freaking, you know what I mean? They're supposed to like they be serious, and it's supposed to like teach you something or whatever. But it like don't make no damn sense at all. Like that's what he's making fun of. It's pretty funny. I love it when he makes fun of those. Let me see if I can find another one.
Yeah, this is my first time ever seeing this.
Shanice, yeah, your mouth.
Now, and mostly he blew,
I keep forgetting what
he blew up off of just kind of like making fun of people because he's really good at like what do you call it? You know, like how like in high school, like when you're ranking on someone, when you make fun of them, you know, like their toes or something.
Sometimes you have to learn to be by yourself and build.
That's what he blew up on. But I love his African proverb skits. They're the best. Let me see if I can find another one.
Welcome back to yet another African proverb nobody will understand.
Fa-la-la-la-la.
What the hell is wrong with you, man?
A man who sniffs around a cat will never have to explain why they impounded his car.
You know, you're so full of shit. You know that?
I saw your mother kissing Santa Claus.
What?
And on the first day of Christmas, the gift he gave to her was herpes.
Why do you always bring my mother into this?
She needs to deck the halls of a clinic.
Wow.
Lemon pepper bush rat.
I hope a white family that doesn't clean their chicken adopts you. I'm dead ass. This has been another.
So it's like, the scenario is whenever you question their proverb, then they immediately attack you personally.
All right, now all right, I understand it better now. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's the joke. It's pretty funny to me.
All right, because I was like, wait a minute, this is some crazy shit. Like, because I'm pretty, I'm pretty good at deciphering and going, when the Nigerian proverbs come about, like real ones, you know, understanding them, figuring them out. That shit, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of them that really just don't make sense. They just be, and that's what he's saying. And I think the ones that he be using be real. I don't know if he be making them up where he gets them from, but because some of the ones that I've heard him say sound pretty damn real. So, like the whole, but most of what he's saying is a joke. It's only the one little part that's the proverb, and the rest of it is the joke.
Okay, all right, yeah, but and that's a good possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it's a lot in the news as far as, let me see. I got a couple little clips. Oath keepers.
Man, that one that you sent, the one that you played a minute ago with the vaccine stuff, still kind of sticking with me. You might have to send that to me. I don't know how you would, but
yeah, because I don't even have that. That was on Instagram. I don't even. I mean, I could probably go back and find it, but I mean, it's on somebody's page.
Okay.
Oh wait, I know whose page it is. Yeah, I can send it to you. I can share it to you. If his page is not private.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember whose page it was now. So let's look at this right quick. The winter storm thing. It's y'all got caught in the weather. You got caught in the weather too, right? Yeah. That
I'm
same
back.
storm, you back in the weather?
Well, it's supposed to be some weather happening this weekend.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to play right now. Here, check it out. It's only 1 minute.
Storm system will bring up to a foot of snow for parts of the plains and Midwest on Friday before taking aim at the south and the east this weekend. CBS's Lonnie Quinn is tracking the storm for us. All right, what are we going to get, Lonnie?
All right, well, right now, first of all, Nora, we're watching a storm that doesn't look like much of a storm at all right now. It's going to develop. If you take a look at the radar picture, off the west coast, it's like around Seattle or so. It's just coming on shore right now. It's a mess. It gets organized, it makes its push through the northern plains, and take a look at how the Futurecast is handling everything. A place like Des Moines picks up a half a foot or more. By Saturday morning, 6 a.m., it is snowing from Omaha over towards St. Louis. Now by Sunday morning, we have snow as far south as Jackson, Mississippi, and that stretches all the way up to places like, I'll say, North Carolina or so. The icing is taking place from Atlanta into Raleigh. By Sunday night, we have snow falling from Atlanta to portions of Pennsylvania. And I think the biggest totals of all, we are going to find Western North Carolina, Western Virginia, upstate New York. And those numbers look like this. Nashville comes in with 6 inches. Asheville comes in with 16 inches.
In Asheville.
The biggest number, Buffalo, about 20 inches. But the big Northeast cities missed this one, maybe an inch or so around Philadelphia, Boston, and New York City. Nora, that's the way we see this storm.
Lonnie Quinn, thank you.
They finna get a bunch of fucking snow. So what do you know about that? You were saying?
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota. Well, I'm very close to where I gotta deliver in Minnesota, probably maybe 100 miles away. But when I'm leaving here, I'm picking up a load going to Pennsylvania that's gonna deliver on Sunday instead of Monday. So and I'm pretty much trying to beat the weather.
Yeah, because from what that's saying, Pennsylvania gonna be all fucked up by Sunday night.
Well, the southern parts, I think I might be going to the northern part. Like it's a good chance I could just miss it all. But we never know how a storm like
and plus their projections are good, but they're never perfect.
Yeah.
because it's Mother Nature. So
Exactly.
they don't really know. But yeah, so that's crazy though. They're gonna get a whole bunch of fucking snow. Even in the South is gonna get a bunch of snow this weekend. Parts of the South.
And that's the part that's really like amazing to me because like it's gonna drop all the way down and curve back up to back to the Northeast, where a lot of times it'll shit almost dump like coming straight off of Canada, like straight across the north and the north all the way toward the northeast. But
Right. Or it'll keep coming down this way, but it'll turn into like sleet and rain or whatever by the time it gets to the south. But
well
this time it's
that
gonna be snow
yeah, like it's usually based on the temperatures that's
in
already
the air. Yeah.
that's already existing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yep. And it's kind of cool. It's cool here in Houston right now tonight. It's not really cold, I would say, but it's cool.
man, y'all don't know what cold is.
Yeah, so I
You have
understand
no idea.
enough. When they
This
say
we
16 inches in like a weekend, I understand enough to know that that's a problem.
it can be but the thing, I mean, it's a problem for the South.
Yeah,
That's where it's more of a problem,
because
and
they ain't
like the
gonna
the
know how to deal
roadways.
with that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, the roadways now. If y'all if it gets to a point where it stays at the freezing point, you'll be okay, better off. But if we're talking about something that's above anywhere above the freezing, you gotta look out for the roadways because there's not enough infrastructure to keep the snow cleared. But if it stays frozen, you can drive through that snow with not as much problem. But when it starts melting and freezing and coming, all that shit, that's when you get those layers of ice where, people can, have accidents, and most people are not prepared. The Southerners are not prepared or can't drive well enough to deal with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
What up, Deuce?
Deuce,
Right here. What's up, man?
man, what you got there? Some vodka with some fruit in it?
Nah, bro. Hey, believe it or not, my wife told me she gonna stop me one way or another, so she making me mix it with V8 Splash. But it's a little tequila. The guy that
Okay.
owned the liquor store across the way from here, man, he always put me on the smoothest tequilas that come through his liquor store. So this here is titanium. I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm just saying.
Sponsoring.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
sponsored.
Titanium? Who is that by?
Ti- um, you know what, Pat? I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but she hid the bottle from me. I don't know where the fuck is that.
Cause I ain't gonna lie. I went to there's
She
this
don't
little
want me to get fucked up.
yeah, there's this little liquor store I went to in Austin. And
Okay.
the guy was like, "Hey, you like tequila? This is the real stuff." I guess for Mex. I think it was Hernando or Hernando. It was,
Hornitos.
huh?
Hornitos.
Juanito. Yeah, I think it sounds something. Yes,
Okay.
something like that. And it was like it's not one that has the worm in it, but it's supposed to be like it was. And I say age like it was so smooth that like shit. Me and my ex was having shots, and bro, like we went through like 2/3 of the bottle in no time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause see, like, when it's real smooth like that, not to get on the alcohol tip, but when it's real smooth like that, you don't pay attention to how much you drinking, man. That's just like, okay, a lot of folks gravitate to Tito's vodka. I delivered the liquor for Tito's vodka for several years. It comes out of Muscatine, Iowa. It's a corn liquor. They take corn and they do their whole process and extract the alcohol from it. But bro, I have some tequila that has been 10 times distilled, made right here in Texas. It's
Cool.
called, let me tell you the name of it, Enchanted Rock.
Okay.
Enchanted Rock.
And it's supposed to be
Okay,
like Native
bro.
Americans.
It's made here in Texas. It's 10 times distilled. I don't know if you see that, and I'm bad with the camera. 10 times distilled. When I tell you this shit is like drinking a bottle of Ozarka water, it's that smooth. You don't even taste the alcohol. I can't tell you, like, bro, I finished like a half a gallon by myself. Didn't even
Ooh.
realize it. And I
Okay.
was on my ass when I finished, but it's so smooth and it's only $24 a bottle. So what I'm saying is to say this. You can hit premium bottom shelf and you will find that it's better than your top shelf.
In some cases.
Yeah.
But
In
your
some
wife
cases.
and your wife is right. It's the mixers, bro, with those drinks. Like, you know that the alcohol already carry a bunch of calories, but really how we be messing ourselves up is with all those extra sugars that we're getting from the whatever we're mixing the liquor with.
Yeah.
You know,
hmm
and a lot of times that's why I like to drink straight on the rocks. Is because, like I said, you're already getting enough
Yeah, but you on
sugars.
some old you don't you man, I'm just gonna go
That's just
on
how I
tell you,
drink.
bro. I'm just gonna go on tell you, nigga. This nigga Chaka came to my house. I'll have it on the rocks. This nigga gonna do me up. I don't give a fuck. I am who I am. I mix. I'm a bitch. I don't give a fuck. This nigga gonna come here. I'll have it on the rocks, sir. Get your proper motherfucking ass out of my house, first of all. But nigga, I'ma serve it to you on the rocks. But look here, nigga. I gotta have a little juice to break up the alcohol, just like I gotta have coffee with my cream. Not cream with my coffee, nigga. I have cream with my coffee.
Y'all
I
should have
don't like
seen
the
the
flavor
video.
of it.
We did. He was in the video and he went to the corner store and got some coffee, bro. He grabbed so many of them little creamers. I swear he probably did like 15 or 20 of them things.
Oh
We're talking,
damn.
right? We're talking while he's doing this, and then I stop and I'm like, wait a minute, bro. How many creamers are you finna put in that coffee,
Look
bro?
here. I'm telling you right now, it's cream with my coffee, nigga. It's not coffee with a little splash of cream. No.
Yeah,
I don't
nah.
want to
Yeah,
taste that
that's
burnt taste.
That's too much
you got
That's
you
sugar.
just
don't you
me.
what that means you don't want no coffee, bro. That I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot, dudes, bro. Say, bro, you got.
That's
Look here,
We
Pat.
love you. We love you,
I'm
bro. We
not,
love you. We love you, bro.
Pat. I'm not on the level that you on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like my brothers that sit there and drink straight black coffee. Ain't no
Well,
way. I will endure it for a minute and then I'll be like, and I will secretly ask the nigga that I trust not to rat me out and be like, say, bro, y'all got some cream?
black
Like,
coffee. If it's good coffee, black coffee is actually really good. But
You could do
like
tea. You could do hot tea, bro. It has a lot of caffeine in it too. And a lot of times people don't like to add stuff to their tea, so then that makes it better because you can add
bro,
fruit
if I
or
go into my wife's
lemon.
collection of tea and all of her healthy stuff, like, bro, like she got me on it one time, and I'm not gonna lie to you. The tea that she drank is not the tea that you go in McDonald's and pay 99 cents for a Route 66 cup. Because the tea that she drinks, and you have to drink it straight.
it's
Let me
detox
say
tea.
this here, bro. I don't know what the fuck it is, Pat, but it's some natural shit by this woman that's a herbalist. And
That's the best stuff,
when
man.
when I drank that shit, bro, and she left and I called her and I'm like, what the fuck? Did you give me a fucking laxative?
Yeah.
Dude, I was literally
I
hugged to the top. I don't
I
trust that
understand.
shit.
Yeah, I understand
I
how you
don't
feel,
trust it,
bro.
bro.
Honestly, listen to me, bro. I love tea, bro. But I don't like those teas either because they kind of like take over your body. Like it becomes
But
unnatural because
it's not even
But
it's
no,
supposed to
not
be
even
but
that
subtle.
that's
kind of tea. It's so
hey.
fresh.
Let me
It's
tell you
supposed
It's
to.
something.
from the mountains
It's
and the
supposed to be
organic
subtle.
parts of
Your
the earth.
body
It's
When you're
that just tells that your body is so unnatural to where you can say that it's unnatural
yes,
because that's
and
let
that's
me
and
what
that's true.
let me read
that's
some comments because I'm way behind. Doc
North
says,
Dakota.
yeah, Doc said I was born in North Dakota. I know cold. Black ice is the devil, man. Black ice. I know a little bit about black ice because you can't see that shit. He
Yeah.
Hey,
said,
hold on. Hey, I'm not trying to take control of the show, but I want to hear. I really want to hear Pat because like my wife would definitely salute Pat, aka, or I'm gonna say Ogun, aka Pat, because this tea that she drank is not a detox tea. It's just natural from. It's literally from Africa. Like this lady, it's a lady with two other men that go and like they scour the earth in different parts of the earth, like, and
I,
it's just natural tea, green tea that you boil your water and you pour it over these different herbs and you drink it, and bro, oh my god, it's treacherous to somebody like me that's been a truck driver for so many years, that has ate so much processed food in my life. I'm like, when I drank it, I can't leave the house. Literally, can't leave the
yeah.
house.
I purposely drink that kind of stuff because I'm a truck driver and end up with some of the worst food
and you need to
on the
clean that
planet.
shit,
And
clean that
yeah,
shit the fuck out.
and that's something that I don't think we do enough anymore. When I was growing up, the my aunties, my mom or whatever, like was you gotta deworm him. He got a worm. He got the worms. Which nowadays I think most of us call them parasites, but
Still the
they
same.
yeah, it's the same thing. So I mean, because like the way you eat or whatever, like you gotta get that shit out of your system or it's gonna develop something pretty bad. And like they gave us castor oil and all these different things that would help get that stuff out of our system. But those teas, man, say bro,
Those teas work good, but what I'm saying is you can't, like, I drink tea every day. I drink tea every day. I love the hell out of tea. It's pretty much the only thing I drink.
if
And
you're talking
but
about if you're talking about Lipton, that's not tea.
nah, bro. Nah, bro.
That's not tea. There's
Wait.
this one called Sea Hall.
Nah,
This
the real
like
tea.
I
I'll put.
drink all kinds of teas, bro. Like fucking all kinds of tea. So, but what I'm trying to say is that if you drink that tea every
I
day,
think
it's
I
not
I
healthy
think I have
for
that
you.
same tea. I think I have that same tea you just showed.
Um,
I
I,
gotta. I
I'm
gotta ask
saying
my
if you
wife
drink
what it
that
is.
same tea all the time, it's not good for you because that cleaning the tea that cleans out your system is not supposed to be drunk, on a regular basis. But there's
No,
Yeah.
all
this
different.
here doesn't clean out your system, bro. It's just it's so potent. I don't know if you guys can see this. When I first saw it, this jar was full. I asked my wife, I'm like, have you gotten the fucking weed business? Like, it looks like it's this, like it's literally this. It's like,
Yeah. No, I
but
get
it's
it, stuff like that
natural
too.
herbs. It's
Yeah,
natural stuff. It's not a cleanser. It's a daily healer. When I say healer, it's about this lady finds things that our ancestors, the I don't want to say too much because I'm not very knowledgeable, so I don't want to sound silly on a worldwide platform, but it's what our people drank, it's something that they drank as a ritual, morning, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
And they drank this, and just a natural healer. It's like it's supposed to help your body as a minority, as a colored person, to maintain your energy. the energy of the earth. You know what I'm saying? Our universe.
But
And this shit right here, drinking it, bro, I'm serious. My
but what
wife does not, she will not fuck with this no more than once a day.
that's my
It's
point.
not a detox. It will make it's just a natural healer of your body.
Yeah.
And
But
if
listen,
you eat something after you drank this and you go to Olive Garden or you go to Red Lobster and you eat that shit, this right here, because it protects your body, you're gonna shit it out. Some people even vomit because it's so strong. It's a natural protector of your body, of your organs, the way
Well,
that people of color should eat and should protect their inner being.
I don't argue with none of what you're saying, Deuce. What I'm saying is you want to have different kinds of teas. How we ended up on this subject was we was talking about coffee, and I was saying that you could use coffee to substitute. I mean, you can use tea to substitute your coffee. Get you just a regular kind of tea that has stimulants in it. It may be caffeine, it may be something else, but it'll have the same impact or effect that coffee would have in the morning, but you won't want to add all these sugars and stuff to it. So therefore, overall, it's going to be better for you.
yeah, and the tea period is going to be better for you, especially if you go from meal to meal. Because one of the things that I learned, that why the Asians do so many teas and soups and things like that is because a lot of the foods that we eat, even when you eat, somewhat healthy foods or whatever, is that if you drink cold water, the colder it is, the worse it is. But
Right.
if you drink something warm or hot, it'll help move those things through your body. So, like, because I mean, just like if you take hot oil, you put cold water, you see it grease up and coagulate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's interesting thing. I work in restaurants. I've been working in restaurants my whole life. And one thing that's interesting that I've learned in working in restaurants is drinking our drinks on ice is kind of an American thing. You know what I'm saying? Even the Europeans don't really do that. Like
No,
almost everywhere else in the world, they don't drink, like if they're gonna drink a Coke, a pop, a soda, or whatever, they're gonna drink that soda. They're not gonna drink it, they're not gonna pour it over ice. You understand what I'm saying? But
yeah,
also they also drink hot drinks all the time. Like teas, whatever, like just hot water alone. Like I noticed that Asian people will come in and just ask for hot water, and they're literally just drink hot water with nothing else,
Mm-hmm.
wow,
with
It
nothing mixed with
it goes back. It goes back to what Pat is saying. I have a friend. Or actually, I have two friends. One is from China. I forget the exact city within China that he's from. Then I have another friend that is actually from North Korea, and he his family worked with the, I don't want to say too much, but they worked with our people, and that's how they gained their citizenship to be here. But anyway, every meal that you go to, they both drink an herbal tea, which is in the form of a green tea, or like it's mostly a green tea. Every now and again they'll drink a black tea, but they say the black tea is more for like swelling and healing of the vascular system within.
hmm,
But they drink green tea with every meal. And I asked him, and that's funny, Pat brought this up, and I asked Zimming, why do you guys drink tea over a meal? Well, Asians eat a lot of pork, and they consider the green tea to be something that, like Pat said, to actually help them to not be full, but to actually help them to digest it, to push it out of their system. If
right.
you're at an Asian's home, after they eat a meal, the father usually, because he's most important, he goes to the bathroom, and that's like a synagogue. He uses that, and from there, you know what I'm saying? It's the queen, which is the mother, and then after that, the son and the daughters follow behind. Like literally them drinking that tea with their meal will help them to push whatever they just consume out of their system.
And all you gotta do,
Any meat that eats from the, they believe wholeheartedly, any meat that eats from the scum of the earth, like pigs, shrimp, um, eels, and things of that nature, they love these type of foods and these type of meats, and they eat them, but they drink a strong, potent dose of green tea with their meal, because after they eat it to be to feel, you know, their nutrients and things of that nature, but they want their body to get rid of it immediately.
So
yeah. Well,
And that's what.
you get
Go ahead. I'm
full
sorry.
off of soups and stuff. You look at people who live a long time, their diets are mostly vegetable, very little meat, and it's all like hot soups. They drink a lot of hot teas and warm liquids. Like you could just dip the fresh vegetables in the hot water. What do you call that? It's a dish. And you know what I'm saying? And then you just eat
Like a blanching or something of the vegetables.
right, and then you just eat that like that, and mostly you're just drinking the drink, because also the you know, the nutrients come out of the
the food
vegetables and go into
into
and
the
it,
water.
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like just drinking, you know, it's a lot of liquids too, because you feel really full, your stomach feel really full. You know what I mean? You can only drink so much. Your stomach is full of these liquids, so that's how you end up eating less. You know what I mean? You feel full.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
but you digest that pretty quickly. So, but you do that again with all the liquids. You know what I'm saying? And that's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
process. Yeah, that's how it works.
Hey man, can I say this real quick? I know you got to move on with the show. But I'm kind of a firm believer in giving people their flowers. And I just want to say, being a part of this podcast and being able to attend and listen in and give my opinion, and being able to link not only with my brother, King Chaka Entertainment, but being able to link with Mr. Pat Ogun himself. Say, man, you have brought a lot out of me that I didn't think that I would have never thought would have just been situations that I have dealt with over the years that came full circle. And a lot of the questions that you guys present in this podcast are just real life questions that, you know, that I've kind of shied away from, but and you know, and thinking about when I'm in my alone time and thinking amongst myself, you guys have brought out of me. You know what I'm saying? Just thinking about the podcast or any type of question that have been asked. But nevertheless, I just want to give you your flowers, Pat, man, just being a knowledgeable person. And I know it may be a slave mentality way of thinking, but just to have somebody like you in the same industry that I'm in, but somebody that is so knowledgeable and so aware of thyself, it's amazing, man. It's an honor to be in your presence and to be able to speak with you, and just to hear your voices to me is powerful, you know. And I just want to give you that. Like I a lot of times Chaka hit me with what do you think? And I don't want, and I add grudgingly, because you have displayed the response to the question so well that I don't want to add some bullshit that overshadow, you know, that people pay attention to. I want people to hear the truth, because I feel like every time you open your mouth, it's the truth. It's 100% the truth, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and I just
Bro,
want to say that I appreciate you. I appreciate my brother, and it's all with love. I love you guys. Like, y'all have helped me realize so much about
man,
myself as a 35-year-old now in this world, and trying to be a father, trying to be a husband, trying to be a man of integrity and be the best that I can be, and continue to hold integrity within this role that I that I have committed to in leadership and guide lives that solely depend upon me. And I appreciate the both of you guys so much, bro. I love y'all. There's there's nothing that I could do that I feel like could ever repay the both of you guys. Like I love y'all so much, bro. And
Man,
just continue that energy.
That's what
bro.
we here for. And I
Yeah.
appreciate you too, Pat, bro. I gotta back
I,
up what he's saying. I mean, like I be saying, I feel like I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for you, bro. I appreciate you every time you come on. You be on like almost every day, and I know you be tired, and it's hard. So like I say, I gotta just to reiterate what Duke said. I appreciate you being a part of the show. Like you are the show.
No, well, I no, we are the show. I definitely appreciate these awesome words that you guys expressing, but I'm just like you guys, man. I mean, I don't know everything. I mean, I am, I do pay attention to different things. I'm a nerd. I'm a weirdo, but I'm just kind of like I'm just another dude like y'all, man. And I mean, I'm glad to have an effect on people because I guess that's one of those things I prayed for a long time, that I can have an effect somewhere. And I wanna. I'm just as happy and proud to be a part of the show and be around you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, that helps exercise my brain muscle in a lot of ways as well. So, I mean, if it wasn't for the show, I mean, I don't know where else I would express some of this junk that I have in my head. But
And at least somebody, I mean, it might not be too many people watching the show, but at least somebody. And you know what I be thinking? I think that it's gonna reach the person that it's supposed to. It's the person that it's supposed to, and it's gonna help that person because our intentions. Because with the universe, when you have an intention of helping someone, it's gonna find its way to help that person. You,
yeah,
just,
because I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, we might not have a lot of listeners when, like, live or anything like that. But I think that as we continue to build content, that it's gonna help and affect people, uh, you know, individually, or start to spread more and more, um, where it's gonna bring, these thoughts together and help somebody down the road. So I mean,
And that's why
but
I do 4 shows a week because I'm fighting against the algorithm and the kind of content that we cover is not popular type of stuff. And then it's slow and then you actually got to think and all of that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
When
expect
people
it to.
begin to, not to cut you off, bro, I deeply apologize, but when people realize that the things that we are speaking of and the things that you and Pat, I have to say you and Pat, you know what I'm saying, present to the table, you
no,
can't help
you bring
but,
some good perspectives too, Deuce. Like there's
Yeah,
some of your
definitely.
stories really, kind of brings things in too. So don't leave yourself out of the equation. You're
It's
definitely very much part of this show and
especially the
add
stories.
value. Yeah, you add a
It's the
lot
the,
of
man,
value.
the
I
stories are
thank you
great.
guys, but I'ma always give my brothers, my big brothers, they flowers, bro, because if it wasn't for y'all, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be as woke as I am. And the reason why I pay so much homage to the both of you guys because I'm doing something that I didn't think that I had the capabilities to do. And first of all, that's being a husband first, loving someone and learning to love someone unconditionally before I knew to love myself. And that's my wife and then my children. And they're my everything. They are my everything. I don't know what my being would be without those three people. And just to be able to do that and love them unconditionally and to 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 strive to be the best for them and
That's the
to
life of a real man.
never feel comfortable. It's like I was telling Chaka last night. Somebody could tell me, like, bro, live in the moment. You've done so much. I haven't done enough. Because until I feel that if my breath stops right now in this very moment, that their life is secure, I'm not finished. And I don't feel that way. And I God blessed me with my daughter first. And I tell people, and it may sound wrong, but I tell people all the time, I got two wives. What the hell you mean you got two wives? My wife and my daughter. Because they both hold me accountable. They both critique everything that I am, everything that I do. My son I'm the leader, and I want him to be a leader, but I see that he follows my pattern. So that's why I strive so hard to the path that I take to be good paths that he will continue to follow and present and help younger brothers under him. Because when I go on to be within the universe and my soul goes on to live within the universe, I don't know what life will be like for my son or my daughter, or my wife, but I want them to know that their father has done everything that he could in his will and human possibly to make sure that they are okay, and I strive every day to be a good man. And I see my son is more stern and more straightforward than me. Like literally, like when I'm not here, my wife calls me and she's like, "Come get your son," and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's literally like, "This dude act like he's the man of the house when you're not here," and I'm like, "Okay, he good, he's straight. That's what he's supposed to do." Like he is handling his business. Have I ever told him that he's the man when daddy's not here? No, I've never done that. But because of the way that I move and I try to present myself and I try to be the person that I say that I am 100% of the time, I walk in humility. I never act like I'm better than anyone. I want you to see my failures. I want you to see the fear that I have as a man because that's how I grow. And
That's
I
that.
feel like if I present myself that way, people are more subjective to be forthcoming and give me their experiences, tell me their experiences, be more willing to share. I'm no better than nobody. I tell people all the time, I'm no different than the man that you see, that the man that you see that just asks you for 50 cents. I tell motherfuckers all the time, I'm one paycheck away from that. And I know people tell me that's the wrong way of thinking, but I'm not far from that because everything here that I have could crumble today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be taken away from me.
And you have to look at that realization to show that that next man and what he's going through, you have to respect what that man is going through, because that could be you. So that's how we
Yeah.
supposed to live our life. Let me read the comments. Doc said warm mezcal not to kill you. I don't know. I think that was the name brand of a liquor. I've been sticking with Svedka and Ivanovich vodka lately. He says she's making sure you and your shit stays at home. He says ginseng, ashwagandha,
Ashwagandha.
guarana, and
Mm.
dandelion root is often used in tea mixes for energy. I prefer Chinese ginseng and ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba is really good for your brain functions too. So that's
Yeah.
you are all good people. I like interacting here, even rescheduling things to pop in here as much as I can.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
for
got we
rescheduling.
we, we, we we got to give thanks to Doc too because like
Yeah,
I really appreciate
he's
a
part of the
lot of his
show too.
yeah, he's definitely a part of the show. He gives his maybe he'll come on one day and we can actually talk, but
He was having
more.
trouble with his phone last time when he tried to get on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but still, like I mean, he adds a lot of great you know jet I mean his thoughts of everything that we're talking about is just like it hits home a lot in so many ways. So, we appreciate you too, Doc. We we hope that you're here to stay, and tell your friends about us. Maybe they'll join in. Unless you're that weirdo like us, where we're
Yeah, that's
uh
what it
We don't
is.
have no friends.
That's what it is, bro. It's not that we don't have no friends. It's just that people who read books and pay attention to the news and care are far and few between.
Yeah, and to the certain level, it's a certain because there's people that give concern that don't know how to care. You know what I'm saying? Like there's people who, want to know what's going on in the world. They watch news, they see and hear different things. But as far as trying to turn it around and use that information for something is something that is rare. It's not.
Very few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what we're trying to do here, and I want to make these connections and so that we can build a community, because whatever information you have, Deuce, that you think could help people out here or help me or help Pat, you're gonna be willing to share whatever information Pat has. He's gonna be willing to share with you and me and whoever's listening, stuff that can help each other. And the more people we get together like that, then that's where you build this infrastructure or institution or community or whatever that and then at some point I like for us to be able to share resources, because you have stuff that like they have on Facebook, the offer up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have special circumstances where you have like at one time I had a situation where people was giving me a bunch of tables and chairs, but I don't have nowhere to put them. You know what I'm saying? So that's not something I really want to deal with. So, but if it's a situation like that, maybe there's somebody out there who needs some tables and chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of them things where when it come down to them tables and chairs, you kind of don't want to pass up, because you just never know how the universe. Let me say this here: you never know how the good Lord will use you, and the universe will use you. And when I say good Lord and universe, because He is the creator of all that I believe. So you never know. That's just like me. I have a big heart, but I realize at some point I can't take everyone with me, and that's why I become so passionate about what is, because I feel like we have to start small. We have to start with that group of 5, that group of 6, and just allow them to reach people within their circle. And then next thing you know, it starts just connecting. And it's kind of like the wildfire effect. A small fire will start here on your property, and then all of a sudden you got some dry grass and dead trees this way that's willing to take on this flame, this fire, and then it just kind of, next thing you know, you're in a circle, and and that's what I feel. That's kind of how I base things, man. And because we have a lot of deprogramming to do within the Black community.
I love that analogy.
People,
like
awaken people, man.
Make it your neighbor. If your neighbor's stuff is in order and better, and they're healthy, you know what I mean, their yard is raked and whatever, then it also makes your house safer. You know what I'm saying, and your neighbor's house safer. You know what I mean, from like a brush fire or whatever, some random shit happening. You know what I mean. That's the reason why but the way the law is set up, you got neighbors fighting with each other about their tree hanging over the other person's yard and the air rights to their property, and then they'll cut the other person's tree because it's hanging over their air rights and all of this stuff, instead of thinking like a community and let's work on this together. Like, whose leaves are these? These leaves fell off of your tree. Get them leaves off that fell off your tree out of my yard. I shouldn't have to rake the leaves from your tree.
That's where we band together and get rid of this political. That's where we band together as a unit and get rid of this home association per se. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we don't want somebody that's running a mechanic shop out of their garage to have 30 cars sitting on their front lawn. I wouldn't want that in a neighborhood that I'm investing my money into and paying for a property. No, I don't want that. But that's where we get rid of these communities like that, because it's like, you know, you have these certain HUD. I'm not HUD, because HUD has to do with the city and mud tax and water and things of that nature. But these homeowner associations that
I agree
you
with
go
you.
and present things to, and because I just feel like this, man, and I know you're trying to speak, bro, but I have to get this off because I don't want to lose my train of thought. But I feel like that if I'm your neighbor, right, and I have an issue, if I go to homeowners association and then they present my issue to you, you're a lot less willing to deal with me on a human level, right? Now you're at the point where you want to be petty because this motherfucker went and reported me to HOA.
And a letter came and shit, and it's all
Yeah.
threatening and shit.
So if I come to you and I say, hey, Chaka, look here, man, I don't particularly like that tree hanging over my bathroom where I like to go soak in this tub. This is where my soaker tub is. I don't like it hanging there because I feel like it fucks up my fun sway and my mood. Do you mind if I trim it back? If I have a contractor come out and I trim it back, you know, and we work out something. And most people are fine with it. The biggest thing that it comes down to is money. Do I have to pay for it, or are you paying for it? Say, bro, because I want the vibe and the mood that it gives me, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Do you mind if my contractors, if they have to, I don't know if the right word is exceed your fence in order to cut these branches, but I don't want it over in my yard. Do you mind if I cut that back a little bit? Yeah. All right, cool. I'll pay for it. You know, do you mind them coming in the backyard? You got a dog? Hey, look here, they're coming on this day. Could you put your dog away? You feel me? Yeah. I feel like it's those little things, and I feel like these homeowners association and all of this other legislative type of deal. I get it that we need it, but these people become a bully.
Yeah,
and when you're dealing with people in our communities, and we're trying to create a difference and awaken people, you can't go that political route. You can't go that chain of command route. You got to get to the people, bro.
It
And
has
that's
to be a community.
I have a cousin of mine that's trying to start a street community, and he's like, I want to give people hope. And I looked at him, and he thought that I was tripping because I was drunk. Like, no, I've been drinking, but I may be tipsy, but I'm not drunk. I know exactly what I'm saying to you. I'm saying to you is that, look here, bro, hope started back in 2008 when Obama became president. We don't need your hope. How about not only do you give these people hope, how about you give them an olive branch to show their skills, because we have a lot of skillful people in our communities, but they don't have an avenue.
Right.
So we start little things. We create a business. You got Pat, you know what I'm saying? You got Pat. You got Chaka. You got Daryl. You know what I'm saying? Let's give these people an avenue. Hey man, look here. You know how to do this here. Let's cut trees down in an art form where we're giving these folks an art show within their yard. Not only are we charging them, but we're giving them a full-blown art show. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're cutting down tree stumps in a different way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think basically what you're saying, Deuce, is community. You know, there isn't, as much as I hate the homeowners association, because I fucking hate the homeowners association, we do need organizations such as that. But what you're saying is right. It's about the community. You know, being a neighbor, being a human. You know, being civil towards each other. We shouldn't really need this middleman. I mean, only in extreme circumstances. In most cases, we should be able to talk about it and work it out. You know,
when a
my
phone
comment
call comes through, it blocks my phone.
to what he just said was really kind of shocking to me, because I have, until I go back to my hometown, well, where I grew up, Baton Rouge, is where I really experienced neighbors. And it's even getting tougher to even, like to even consider people neighbors because you don't even freaking talk.
Yeah,
Like, that sense of community, the word you use, community, like that sense of community
it's
is
not
so
there.
far gone. Yeah, it's just that, like even waving at people has become like a task.
Right,
You know,
right. Smiling, eye
Just-
contact, even because people might take that the wrong way and decide to shoot you. Let me
you
read.
know what
Let me
I'm
read Doc's comments. He said, "I don't trust some of the people I know because I know they'll say some stupid shit.
saying?
My girl is
Yeah.
trying to sell her property in East Texas. The homeowner is trying to block the sale because the buyer is black. This is not the first time they have done this. Yeah,
What?
real estate is so racist. It's been that way
Man, but that's
forever.
why you have so many black folks. Like, bro, you wouldn't believe some of the businesses. If you do the hardcore research, you wouldn't believe some of the multi-billion-dollar companies that people subscribe to or buy from are consumers of that are owned by black folks, but they put a white face in front of it because that race, that skin color shit, like it
My auntie had to
it
do that
gets
years
to me.
ago. Like in our hometown, there's like my auntie was buying homes and trying to buy the first one in auction was such a problem. She hired a lawyer that happened to be of a much lighter tone, and I mean, like I mean, she has probably, I don't know how many she has now, but I know at some point she had gotten up to about 30 homes that she, of course, renovated and started renting and stuff like that. But that would have never happened if she had tried to do it on her own. E-
Exactly, man. You won't
especially
believe that.
especially in the town that we grew up in, that we come from. Like,
Man, you won't believe that. Like so many people, bro, like just because you are a black owner, you could have, bro, they could be trying to rent your house that you have on the market and they have the money to pay it. You're asking 5, 6 grand a month. But because the face of the home, the owner of the home is somebody of color, these folks will go rent in a lesser neighborhood than it's so crazy, bro, how colorism and systemic racism and just racism alone is so prevalent to this day, man. Like that shit is beyond me, bro. And it's like the sad thing is that I had to literally have that talk with my kids because my son is praised. He's of my skin tone, very light red, sandy red hair, comes off as a mixed kid, and then you see my daughter, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and she's of dark skin. She takes on her mother, skin color, and beautiful girl. She's gonna have to work 10 times as hard as my son just to prove herself, and
I
that
think
shit is
things are
so
changing. Things are
unfair,
changing.
bro.
I think things are changing. We have to kind of allow, some of these things to kind of work themselves out. But I think a lot of that stuff is changing. Hopefully I'm not being foolish to think that. But I kind of feel like the generations coming up are not nearly as racist as even we were. Because I mean,
Yeah.
just the atmosphere in which, because I mean, I'm not like a racist to my core, but based on the societal things that we've gone through, like I mean, at this age, I mean, you've experienced some form of racism, which may turn you into somewhat of a hater as well. So,
Hmm.
you know, but I mean, at my core, I love everybody. I give everybody a even chance. But just based on circumstances that I've gone throughout my time here, I think I would have to admit that I do have some biases.
Yes. And that's understandable, man. That's just like, man, I'll be honest with you guys. That's just like the job that I'm on, man. And this is why I'm out of sight, out of mind type of person because the job that I have and the product that I haul and just the skill set that I have, I'm envied just because of the simple fact that I am a brown person. And so I don't speak a lot. You know what I'm saying? I attend where I'm required to attend. Any extras, I don't. I'm out of sight, out of mind, and I stray away from it. And I have these managers that are. That's the thing. You run, a company like Lindy that wants to be known as diversity when it comes to ethnicity groups and things of that nature. I don't think that they don't get to the grassroots. They don't get to the nitty gritty because they hire too many people that are Europeans. They hire too many people that are white. They hire too many
And it's
folks
it's
of
hurting
these
them.
colors.
It's hurting their
Uh,
creativity, and
yes,
it's hurting their because without the diversity within the company, then their product suffers. Whatever it is
yeah,
that they're doing, because
and
they're
they
not
feel
aware.
like that they're doing good because they have the one or two black guys like myself within, the industry of hauling hydrogen, and then they have the one or two guys that's of my color working inside their plant but it's like, no, you're not doing that great because at the end of the day, the people that are over me are of not my demographic. They
Right?
don't know
None of
my
them.
struggle.
The
You know what
the
I'm saying? They
it's
don't come
that's the
from where I
class.
come from. They don't
That's
have the ideas that I have. And that's like,
that's the
we had a
class
safety meeting.
separation. That's
We
the
had a,
class separation that people don't really realize. What I think people don't understand is like the fugitive system or whatever back in Europe or whatever that they had with the serfs and the
Mhm.
lords and all of that. They still wanted to keep that system, so they still kind of have that system today. It's just not called the. You still have the serfs, but they're not called serfs anymore. You still have the
Yeah.
lords, but they're not called lords anymore.
This company could grow so much further if they would empower, if they would hire and put people like myself, people like Pat, people like yourself in charge. Because, dude, just think about how much shit we can sell. You think about the cannabis industry alone. Cannabis industry needs what I do, atmospheric gases. But the people that own cannabis grow houses and cannabis grow fields, you think they want to talk to a white man? Like, let's be real. Do you think they want to talk? No, they don't. You feel me? Because even though they're doing it the legal way in states where it's legalized, they still have a form of criminality. They still have a form of, okay,
Well,
this person here could set me up,
the white
but if
people are
we
the
get
ones,
this
and
person,
it's the cops too. I was watching the story. It's really interesting because what you're talking about is true. There's a criminal element always still there because they could be robbed, set up, and all of this. So it was if the feds or it was a state cops. I think it was state cops, and they owned legal marijuana grow uh farm and shit.
yeah,
And everybody like the neighborhood knew that it was the cops, so that was the place to not rob.
yeah,
That's what helped their
yeah.
business grow and
Hey,
helped them become big.
I'm not trying to cut you off, but us three within this live, bro. And I'm not okay. I'm sure Pat because I know Pat has his shit together. But and I'm sure you got your shit together, big bro. I'm kind of like trying to reinvent and get shit together because I made a lot of mistakes in my career and ownership role, right? But that is a wave that we fucking need to band together. You know what I'm saying? We need to band together and put our bread into this shit is coming down the pipelines. Bro, my company, I'm on the inside. Okay. My company has a facility in the Midwest part of the United States where they will invite us in or bring us in Nitrogen is a really good preserver of the shit that a lot of people, hey, say, man, roll me a spliff. You feel me? Like, say, we need that shit. You feel me? Like, we need to get our money together and start, bro. We are, in a sense, we're behind, but we can be ahead in an area like Texas. It's coming down the pipeline to legalize this shit. Do you realize on a daily basis how
Louisiana,
many people, Louisiana, any state in the South,
well, Louisiana has January 1st has that you can openly smoke. Inhalation is legal in Louisiana, but of course, it's on a medicinal, somewhat of a medicinal, you know, law. I get falls under the medicinal practices, um, but that's the beginning. Like I mean, I don't think Texas hadn't done it yet, right? For medicinal.
I'm not sure. I don't think Texas has because Texas has too many privatized prisons within the state. But Pat, and I know you trying to make a point, brother.
And
But
they rely on that
if you
small drug
if
charges.
we bring our money together, man, just
How
on a
much do we? How much do we?
medicinal.
How much do we need?
I'm not sure, and I know I'm bringing this and then saying I'm not sure. I probably sound really premature and idiotic. I understand that, but I don't exactly know exactly how much money we would need. But I'm confident in saying if we each had about 10 to 12,000 that we could put up, because you want to think about your lease, you want to think about, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna need at least some trustworthy employee, somebody, at least a couple of people that's willing to rotate
I
a
ain't
night
gonna
shift.
lie,
You
y'all.
don't want to leave your place
If
unattended.
well, look, I would
But
manage it. I'm telling you right now because I already got history as a manager, and I also grow. I have history of growing, so like this could really be a thing. Because like I said, I did closet grows before. I know about budding and flowering and all that shit.
Well,
you
Nutrients.
know,
I'm in. I mean, I can, cause I mean, shit. I went ham for Christmas, but it might take me a couple of months to put,
me too as well,
put,
brother. Not to cut
yeah,
you off.
yeah. But at the same time, like I mean, the 10 grand, that's not. I don't shit. That ain't shit.
I think we should, bro. Like literally, because this is a thing
But
that
I
is
but
helping
if I'm
so
if
many
I if
people.
I'm gonna be honest, that 10 grand between the three of us is probably not enough. But
Because that's just
you
gonna
know,
cover the licenses.
that's not even gonna cover the licenses.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
yeah, but that's something that we can look into, and we really should explore it. One of us needs to be able to put some effort into figuring out what exactly needs to happen and what it's gonna cost. And I think we still can put something together because it's gonna get more and more relaxed um, as time passes. But a lot of people like there's people who have licenses now, even though it's not, really it's
Yeah, I've
not
heard that
legal.
too. A lot of people are talking about that right now.
A
Yep.
Yeah.
lot of people are getting their licensing just because they know that it's coming down the pipeline to
Yeah.
a what's the word that you use for a state like Texas when it comes down to their traditional laws? Like most people say Louisiana, Louisiana still carries a lot of parish laws that aren't necessarily on the books, but they stick within the state guidelines. So you could be convicted upon a parish law that's not necessarily a federal law. So I don't know
Um.
what you would call that for Texas per se.
Well, I mean, it's. I mean, I mean, if it's a law, it's a law. And I mean, different, states, whether it's parish or county, they, if it's something that historically has existed within those jurisdictions, will they might last, but of course, it all that stuff still depends on your what kind of jurisdiction you are you know are subject to. So I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, me being a Aboriginal, a lot of those things don't pertain to me because I'm really old law. Like, I mean, laws that existed before a lot of these other laws existed. So I mean, I can probably get past a lot of these things as long as I'm willing to fight to exercise, or to you know keep my
I
rights.
got you.
Yeah.
Let me play
I,
a couple
I
of
I understand where you're coming
let
from.
me play a couple short videos, y'all. Check it out.
25. Gas cost about $2.35 a gallon. The average house cost was $200K, and Jeff Bezos was worth $6.8 billion. Fast forward 12 years later, Jeff Bezos is now worth $191 billion. The average house is about $500K. Gas is $4.35 a gallon, and the minimum wage is still $7.25. Wage was raised from $6.55 to $7.25. Gas cost about $2.30.
So
Babe,
2009.
here's a question for you. If we lived in the exact same place, Kentucky, 70 years ago, would you date me?
This is a trap.
No, it's not. Would you?
Gabby, wait, at the
Would you
time
date me?
it was illegal. So I mean, what are you
You
Is that
gave
a
yourself
no?
away. He would.
I don't break the law, okay? That's not a thing that I do. That's not how I was
We're gonna get divorced.
but we would.
Would you date me?
This is a trap.
No, it's not.
What's the
Because
question?
let's talk about this. And if you want full context, go watch the video. She asked her boyfriend, if 70 years ago we were in Kentucky, would you still date me? His response was, it was illegal, and I like following the law. What? So you're saying you're a sheep? You're saying you're a follower? You're saying when the going gets tough, you don't actually ride for Black lives. This is why I have trust issues with allies. My sister saw this TikTok the other day, and she asked me a question which literally caught me so off guard. She said, if slavery was still around, can you name one white person you could trust? I said no. Because the thing
This is
is
why I
with
don't
these
want my black
allies
daughter
is their
dating a white
activism
guy.
and
I'm
allyship
sorry.
is
I may
conditional.
seem outrageous,
When the
but
going
I
gets
don't.
tough, where do you stand? If a cop is literally attacking me, what are you going to do? That's my question of the day. That's my question of the day. Because if I'm an activist and I'm an ally to a community, I ride. I will sacrifice and die for the cause. And some people ain't the same.
Hey, babe, here's a question for you.
On my $1 million journey, I sold my car, which was almost 2 years ago. I still don't have a car. And I'm a multimillionaire. I still don't have a car. I almost bought a $300,000 G-Wagon because of the stuff I saw on the internet. And I sat with myself. I said, do I really even want this G-Wagon? I'm never in town. As soon as I drive off the lot, it depreciates. It's going to be in my garage. I don't own any land because I stay in an apartment.
Come on, babe.
Why am I buying a G-Wagon? Because I'm conditioned to think that's what you do when you get money, right? I sold my Toyota. Now I need a luxury car. This is what I'm thinking as I'm scrolling. I ain't had a car for 2 years. I am comfortable. I don't
know
cook.
exactly how she feels.
So all I'm doing is Uber Eatsing. I ain't never at the grocery store. I'm never in town. One of those years was a pandemic. I wasn't doing nothing. Why would I go buy a $300,000 car for it to
That's been
sit in my
paid for
garage?
like
I owe my $1 million.
13, 14 years, 15 years.
I contemplated that very same thing many times, because like even for my birthday, like I was like, I should just go buy a car. I should go to to Christmas with my brand new car. And I was like, well, shit, where the hell am I gonna park it? Like, 'cause like right now, I don't have a home. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even have an apartment. Like I live out of my truck, and when I'm home, like when I'm off or out of the truck, I'll go stay somewhere. And I mean, I've been blessed to have people close to me that's just like, just come stay here or whatever. But I mean, I can get an Airbnb. I would like why pay rent for something that I'm only at, a week every quarter, or every 2 to 3 months when I'm home? Like, why pay rent? Where I was paying like $1,300 a month, and I was only there, like in a year's time, I may have spent a total of 20 days in my last place. And then I have a Volvo. I have a car that I can get around in. It's not like, it's an old car, it's an '05 Volvo. But just the idea of like, man, I want to get that, I've been wanting to get me a new pickup truck. But I'm like, because I sold the pickup truck I had to buy this 18-wheeler. My first one. So it's like, I don't know, I go back and forth all the time with that same idea, like, but why am I doing it?
Exactly. I think at that point, it becomes not so much as a need, but more so as like, hey, I want to show someone that I make. Because at the end of the day, I struggle with the same thing. I was talking to Chaka over Christmas, like, bro, I want a pickup truck, but I wanted a pickup truck, but it didn't make sense. I'm gone, literally, I'm gone 6.5 days a week. When I come home, my little Ford Ranger is parked in the same spot that I park it when I arrive at my house. Why does it make sense for me to go out there and spend 55 grand for a pickup truck that I'm barely gonna drive, when I can keep this truck my little Ranger is a 2004 with 200,000 miles and has never failed me yet, not one time. You know what I'm saying? So I chose to make the decision to put I put literally, and I'll be honest with you, I put about $7,500, and I'm counting parts, labor, and just the little, here and there occurrences into the little truck. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care what people think, because I'm a big guy when I get out of it, because the majority of the time when I pull up somewhere, they're in awe that the little truck is lifted with the, nice off-road wheels, and then I got a nice sound system in it. People don't even care about the fact that I'm a big guy getting it. They're like, oh my God, this little truck looks nice, and man, what do you have in there? That system sounds great. But it was no point in me doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I get where you're coming from, and I juggle that, and it's like I was making this point to my wife. Since we've been married, I've been a trucker. And majority of the time that we've been married, I've been an over-the-road trucker. And I made a comment tonight when I got home, and her and I was talking, and my daughter was standing there, and I'm like, I want to get back to those roots, and this time I want to do things right. And of course, my daughter began to kind of teary-eyed, because she's used to daddy being an owner-operator and not being at home. And my goal is, I want to do things different. I want to be an owner-operator, but I want to have that standpoint of being at home. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, when I was an owner operator, I could have very well went out and I could have got the G-Wagon that was designed by Brabus. I made the money to pay for it, $1,200-$1,300 a month. I could have got the money that I was making. I could have got a McLaren Senna, which is a $1.3 million car. I know what it cost. Like, I could have got these things, but for what? You know what I'm saying? For what? By me not making those dumb decisions, it allowed me to be unemployed for X amount of months and not struggle. My kids not miss nothing. My wife not miss nothing. Did it hurt my savings? Yeah, the fuck it did. It damn near depleted them. But I was unemployed, and I still had a income, and my kids and my wife never missed a beat. It was like I was still employed. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't make sense to me. And I think that's where you have to, when you're getting a bag, when you're getting the money, you have to balance my want, my need, and you have to balance common sense. You know what
That's
I'm
the main
saying?
part. That's the main
The
part right there.
common sense. You have to fuck all of this. I work hard. I deserve this. Nigga, where's your common sense? Because you using the mind frame that I work hard, I deserve this will have you move outside of the realm of common sense and put your family and yourself in a situation that you're truly not prepared for. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Let me
And
Well,
read the
for
comments.
go ahead, go ahead.
Legal licensing from grow distribution requires 2.5 million in permits depending on the state. Many states have a limit on the number of licenses. Hypothetically speaking, not that I have into this, wink wink. Check out YouTube channel Minority Mindset. It's a guy that helps teach you the things about building wealth and investing, the things we should have learned in school. It's called peacocking. We've been taught to show our wealth, not grow our wealth.
And see, and
Not taught. That's the
that's
wrong
the
word. Conditioned.
oh look like that's the part that I have actually been focusing my attention to is that all right, because if you just look at on a on even on a lower scale of car payment and rent and things like that, let's just say the $1,300 to $1,500 rent. Well, and I guess I could have a small space, but I like to have space. But let's just say $1,200 a month for rent, 500. Let's just say with including insurance, you practically $1,000 there. So you're looking at for a lot of people that's on the minimum side, 2,000, 2,200 or so dollars per month. That's just going out for the expense, not calculating fuel or anything else. But those $2,000 on a small scale for me, that would be for the year $24,000 that I can use to invest somewhere other than something that I'm not gonna make much use of. That I'll
That you get nothing back for. It's just like
that
that's what I always talk about rent. Because rent, it feels like it's just you're just throwing money out the window. Rent feels like you're just throwing money out. You don't get nothing back for that. They can kick you out of your
eh,
apartment within 28 days. If you late, you could have been
yeah.
paying that rent for 50 years. They don't give a damn. The
Well,
first month you late, they can get you out of there in a month.
my idea is to use that money and invest, and that way within like a 2 or 3 year period, I can have the money put to the side where I can buy a house cash, and I don't even have to pay interest of borrowing money from a bank. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even with the prices of homes going up, I mean that I believe in the next 2 to 3 years I can go and buy a house cash, and then as far as me retiring, by the time I'm 50, maybe 55, and still have be able to have a good long life based on my investments. That's where my mind goes. You know what
Let
I'm
me let
saying?
me ask y'all. Well, let me ask y'all. I played two other videos in that sequence. One of them, the girl was talking about minimum wage not changing in 12 years, and how like the corporations and the billionaires' money blowed up. And the other one was about the idea of the white ally. Um, you know, depending
Now,
on the law.
yeah,
What
where
do
you
y'all
want
think
to
about
start
that?
at?
I don't
Which
know.
one you want to
Wherever,
start?
whichever. Go ahead.
it
Well,
don't matter.
my thing is, the inflation. Like I think I have like I'm a conspiracy theorist. So and maybe there's some conspiracy facts there as well, but I somewhat feel like the inflation was purposely done. Like all like the whole thing with the virus that's running around was constructed and let out on the people, forced closures of schools, jobs, and all these different things, where the government starts trying to, give this income to the people, which when you put too much, you know, dollars into a system that only has so much value, that's what drives up the inflation. And then, they selling all of these new products that's necessary for you to even have to, so for you to even to go out into society, you gotta have the mask, you gotta have this, you gotta, all this, everybody's trying to buy sanitizer and like buying up all the stuff in the stores, drove all these prices crazy. Everything is insane right now. I mean, even
It's
like
like just
all
more and more pressure, but still, what about people not getting? People still getting paid the same. Everything costs
that's
more, but people
and
still getting paid the same amount.
I'm getting to that because that's like, as soon as I heard her saying that, I was like, and then that's forced slavery. Because I
Yeah.
mean, there's very few places that you can go, and the plantations that's still open is the main ones that's making hand over fist every day. Walmart,
Walmart,
Amazon, you
Amazon,
know,
yep.
you know what I'm saying. So
Those
it's
all of the agricultural big ag, because they like to use illegal immigrants, and they could fuck around and not pay them at all and just call ICE on them at the end of the season.
they could. Like, I mean, you could threaten them quick and easily, and they're gonna shut the fuck up. Like, I mean, it's like, which one you want? You know what I'm saying? I send you this check, but I'm a call. Who knows who will be here Monday morning when you get here? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's it presents such a position for everybody. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I do feel I am blessed throughout this whole situation. I mean, I'm still dealing with the same shit everybody else is, but I do pretty well with in my occupation. But it's still fucked up how everything has come together, and I look at it like a lot of a lot of y'all. It wasn't me. A lot of y'all voted for this shit. If if you would
That's
have
how
let
they
the
separate us, though, with the
I
blame
know
placing.
I know I'm being messy, but I'm just saying, like, if you would have let the lunatics stay in office, all this stuff wouldn't be happening right now.
Well, Doc says I live off of 17 to 2,000 a month. Borrow the money from the bank at 3 to 4% interest. Invest it into stocks that return 5 to 7%. Free money. My conspiracy theory: the virus was released to break the economic and medical systems and destroy the middle class. That makes the people require corporations and the government to take care of them and create a system very close to communism, not the socialism that everyone likes. Man.
Well, I agree on the investing part. That's a good strategy. But I'm not too crazy about borrowing any money, so give my time to save a few thousand, compound it in my investing, where that 7% may exist, maybe even higher in some places. If you get into forex or different things like that, but compounding is where you're gonna truly get your biggest benefits, so that you know those percentages keep growing week to week, month to month, every time. So and I've heard of people doing the investments where they borrow money and use it to invest and this, that, and the other. And that's for certain situations. But you know, I guess for myself, it makes more sense for me to just, spend the money I've already earned.
And you asked me about the Prince Andrew thing, and it popped up on my Instagram. Is Prince Andrew no longer His Royal Highness? Prince Andrew loses all military titles and royal patronage. What does this
Yes.
mean for him, and why has it happened? Um,
Well, he's a freak. Simple and plain. Um, there's connections with him and the Epsteins,
yeah.
and all of the whole cabal that like I said, I've been begging y'all, like, y'all get a
But that's the
chance,
same
y'all.
reason why Bill Gates lost his wife. His wife left him because of that stuff.
Or
It's the same
I
thing.
see. I didn't know that there was because I really feel like, because I didn't hear anything directly at Bill Gates. I'll never be surprised that
Yeah, they
is
got
that
proof he was on the flights, and he was on multiple flights. So it's like his wife was like, "What the fuck was you doing?"
Yeah.
That's why she left him.
Okay, well, because I'm gonna just tell you, like, the billionaires, just like Jeff Bezos, like, I feel like sometimes, like, a divorce can be beneficial to him financially based on taxes and this, that, and the other. He can take, say that half his money went here and his half money, he's got half, and the other half he had to give away, and then. So I mean, I gave different options of why both of those two billionaires, end up getting divorced during this the biggest growth that spurts that they've had in this decade, or within the
Man,
last couple of years. So
it's so crazy you mention that because, man, I'm. Go ahead, Pat. I apologize. I cut you off,
Well,
and that
look,
was
I want to say
disrespectful.
no,
this.
no,
I,
go, no,
I
go.
think I think it goes together with the white ally comment because that's what I wanted to ask y'all about. Because
No,
okay,
I
so
think
Bill
I think it's
Gates.
a different thing because, and the reason I say this, an R&B artist that I love this dude music, Neo. You think about it, as an artist, you want to continue to reach the people at all times, right? You want to continue to be able to sell. So it just goes, it runs hand in hand to what Pat was saying about the beneficial part of a divorce. And you think about Neo was gone off the scene for a couple of years, whether he said that it was because he wanted to be there for his children being born or not. But he divorced, or his wife, per se, his wife gave him back the ring. And then all of a sudden he comes out with a fucking number one hit album that went through the roof, off the charts.
Yeah,
So
well, I
it's
mean
like
that.
if I'm an artist, I need to create some type of conspiracy. I need to create some type of drama within my life in order to write about, because now I'm back in money making mode. I'm back in reaching my fans. I want to deliver the same thing to my fans that I have delivered all these years. I can't come to them about a happy life when I've been presenting to them the troubles that I've had in my personal life with women and love.
Well, I
So
mean,
then you
so a
think
lot of
about people
artists.
like Bill Gates. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pat. I'll be
Uh,
quiet and I'll
uh,
let you guys expound on
well,
it.
no, no. If you weren't finished with your point, I apologize for interrupting. Because when it comes to Bill Gates,
Yeah, but what
well,
about the white ally side? We haven't talked
now,
about that.
now that's a very interesting point, and something to, because I think I know some people that and you just never know until that time comes. But I think I know a few people that would ride or die. You know what I'm saying? That so, but at the same time, I mean, you really don't know. You grow up in a different age, where those issues aren't as prevalent as they were in the past. We talking about 70 years ago when things were drastically different. Um, you know, because I mean, the question was, would he still date her? You know, so white guy asked, you know, a
And
black girl
he's like,
asking a white guy.
he said it's illegal.
He
He's
wouldn't want
like,
to. Now,
I can't
now,
break the law.
now that is something that that would be very questionable because I mean, you're answering based on what you know about yourself now, and for you to go to the idea that the thoughts of well the laws were different then, hell no I wouldn't fuck with you. That I mean that lets you know right that says a lot right there, but
And what's the guy's name? James Baldwin or whatever. The guy who was freeing slave. He was a abolitionist, and he killed a bunch of white people. Killed a bunch of slave owners and slave masters, and freed a whole bunch of slaves. Eventually, they took him to court and they hung him or whatever. But what was his name? You know who I'm talking about?
ooh,
He was
that's
he was really religious, so he was saying that Christ
Nat Turner.
energy. No, Nat Turner was a black guy who was he did like a slave revolt. This was more like it was a white guy. He was an abolitionist. You know, he was against slavery.
Abolitionist, yeah.
Yeah, I can't fucking say the shit. And he said that because of the Bible. He said the Bible says that this is this is wrong. And so he went and he went from plantation to plantation and freeing slaves, and he killed a good number of white folks doing it. And eventually he got caught and you know.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna lie. That's a nigga level that I would you know, probably
John
appreciate.
Brown. Doc, thanks, Doc. Somebody knows who the fuck I'm talking about. Oh my God. John Brown.
Yeah,
Damn.
I remember this story, but I couldn't think of the name. But that's something that is very rare. And like I said, I mean, I have some really good people that I grew up around that I think would be like, you know what, you a cool motherfucker, and I prefer you around here than this motherfucker, and would do something very similar to what John Brown did. So it's kind of hard to call, you know what I'm saying? But this guy in the video, he kind of marked himself by with his comment. If his first thought is that, oh well, it was illegal, so I mean hell no I wouldn't be caught with you, that's right there says a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's what I'm saying? Like dude, you couldn't even pretend like I wouldn't give a fuck. I love you, baby. Shoot, I will want you no matter what. I sneak around in the bushes for your ass. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
When the laws
Something.
come, I just tell them that you work for me or something. You're my
Something. Yeah.
employee.
I'll buy your freedom or something.
Yeah. He immediately goes to it was illegal, so nah.
Yeah. Fuck you.
So
So I
that's
mean,
the thing.
and
I tell
overall,
my
man.
daughter all the time, and I want her to understand that something that is legal doesn't mean that it's right, and something that's illegal does not mean that it's wrong.
Right.
Not necessarily depending on the circumstance. You can't
Yeah.
like I go by
That's why
God's
I don't
law.
want my. That's why I don't want my dark skinned beautiful daughter that is the skin tone of her mother being with a white guy. You can call me racist. You can call me whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want that because of the simple fact of the nature of the conversation that we're talking about and me knowing somewhat of the history. They wouldn't kill him per se being the white guy, but they would definitely kill her. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? And he being the white guy would not, if he was growing up in that era, he would take instruction from his family. You know what I'm saying? To get back
well,
within their good graces. And there's not a lot of them that would have gone outside of the graces of their family. And it's like, I may sound wrong, I may sound racist, and I
well,
apologize, but
no, no,
I
no, no.
want my
I'm
Go
gonna tell
ahead,
you
Pat. I'm
something.
sorry.
No. Don't apologize. I'm interrupting you. But that is one of the things that I would be somewhat fearful of because there's actual stories, real life events that has happened where there's a white guy married to a black woman, and because of he had this love for this woman, but because of his family and things like that, he would, if he thought he was dying or for whatever reason, he gets to a certain point where he's like, all right, you know what, I can't, because of his family, he can't leave her living because anything that they leave for him goes to a black woman or any, like any
Damn.
inheritance and this, that, and the other, he would kill her.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's like
This
I
is this
think about
this is stuff that actually happened.
Present day.
Yes.
Let me play this because it's gonna go with what y'all talking about.
Man, that shit is so.
Julia
fucking-
Fox opens up about her relationship with Kanye Ye West on a new episode of her podcast, Forbidden Fruits.
What's really exciting about him is that like any idea can become a reality. Like anything is possible. Any dream is possible. And I love that. And he's just such a doer. He's like, let's do it now. Like don't wait. But I feel like to the people that know us both personally, like all the people that we have in common, like friends in common, have texted me and been like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Yeah, I mean, there's always people that think that like every single celebrity scandal is a setup. I personally don't. It's just people that make each other feel better. It is like, it's really like such a Gemini Aquarius like connection. Like it's very inspirational. Our minds, we both like work very fast. We keep up with each other, which is cool. Like I talk very fast and I can have 10 trains of thought. And like, I mean, he was with a reality star for a really long time. So I don't think
he's also very open.
Yeah. And I feel like he's really open. He did say that he likes them very expressive.
You can't hear it? All right, let's get some more.
No, I'm saying I can't listen to it, bro, because.
Wait. I want. It's a clip in here. Right.
What did I tell you about disrespecting my Nubian princess? With disrespect, you. Oh my God, the mother of Mecca is right here before me. Do my eyes
goddamn
not
right.
Me, or am I
That's
looking
the
at
mother of
goddess
Mecca.
Isis herself?
You motherfucking right.
Can you,
Maybe I am
do me a favor,
racist
my
at the
brown
core.
skin?
I don't fucking know.
Can you tap that white girl for me?
Fuck that.
My milk of magnesia. oh. After the
I don't even like the way they play with this shit, bro.
You and I could, make a little
It's just sarcasm.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you learn something from this? I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you learn something from this?
Okay. A nigga like you.
I'm not one of those niggas.
You goddamn right, little man. Say, bro, I'm sorry, bro. Like I can't even do it, bro. Like I am the dude that watched these movies like the Django and all of these fucking movies, and I get infuriated, and I'm like, I could not live in these periods because I would be known as a white fucking kid. I would fucking kill him. And when I think about my daughter, bro, like my firstborn, the first thing besides my wife that ever meant something to me, like I can't do it, man. And maybe I'm racist at my core, and I'm sorry, but I can't do it, bro. Like I cannot fucking do it. Like I would rather beat the shit out of some little black dude that comes and breaks her heart than like I can't do it, bro. I just cannot. Like all I can picture is I think about the shit that I get into in my sexual life, and I can't picture I can't picture this shit, dog. I can't. I cannot.
I mean, I can relate.
This nigga is not finna be getting his dick sucker talking about my little niglet. Like, no, I will kill you, bitch. I will shoot you in your head, motherfucker. Like, no.
I'm gonna tell you, and we all have different experiences, but you know, I grew up in a time where it was cool to date white chicks, and and when I was in my early 20s, I dated this young lady. I mean, she was. I mean, because if I'm gonna date a white chick, she's got to be beautiful. She's got, what I'm saying. She was fine, but you know, living, you know, because we lived together for a while, and she had a couple kids. She's divorced or whatever, but it was like the way, like, this, my culture and her culture were so far apart to where it's hard to even do that, or was able to do that. And y'all got to remember, this was Louisiana. Going out to
Cat, I
dinner,
know
going
you
out to
grew
dinner.
up in a very racist time.
Yeah, like, I mean, my hometown where I was actually born, bro. In the '90s, there were still places that did not allow black people to come in and eat. So, I mean, yeah, I experienced a lot of different stuff, but I mean, but just the culture thing, you know,
Well,
I,
I have to. I have to give my disclaimer. I mean, I know y'all know this, but being that the topic that we're on for our audience, I just want to say that my first baby mama was half white and half black, and my second baby mama was all the way white, and my
But that's
third
a difference, nigga. Do you understand? She has
and,
a if
and
she
my,
has a pin drop of black in her, she's considered black. So that's different, bro. That's the way society.
but
I
Anaya's mom was
cannot do it. Like I've never been with a
Anaya's
white
mom was
woman.
listen. Anaya's mom was Alabama white. You remember Christy? And
I know Christy, and I love her to death. But as a black man growing up in this America,
Houston is
me
way different.
personally,
Houston
I
is way
cannot
different.
do it. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it straight a buck. I look at white chicks and I'm like, oh my god, this bitch is so fine. Oh my god, she look like a sister. But then when I'm an overthinker, and when I think about me being with her, I'm like, this shit is not gonna work. It
well, I'm gonna
can't
say
work.
this.
It's not
My
gonna work.
my
Like
last
and
my
maybe I'm
last
too fucking racist, bro. Like
my last
I
baby
just
mama
can't do it.
is all the way chocolate. So that's why my youngest is very she's dark skinned. So but I just the where I fall on this is humans are humans, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cultures are different. Cultures are different, but humans are the same.
Yeah, no, and I do believe that very words that you just said, and because me and her got along well, like me and her got along pretty good, but it was the societal things that the outside people is what really hindered a lot of it, because even though we have very different cultures, like she's from Nebraska, not Iowa. She was from Nebraska, and I think her parents, like when her parents came into town, I had to leave the house and go be somewhere else.
I can't see that. That's the
That's the problem.
like for me, bro. Like I think about like this is the shit that I picture because I work in LaPorte. LaPorte still to this day in 2022, nigga, is very racist. Pasadena, very fucking racist. Ku Klux Klan motherfuckers that run the police force over there. So when I think about if you have to come pick me up from work and we get pulled over, they're not judgmental of you. They're judging me as a brown person. And I'm a light-skinned nigga. Let that be known for the record. They're judging me. I'm a very red, light-skinned nigga. You can't see it on this camera, but if you see me in person, I'm very light. I look mixed. And I'm being judged. What do you think? Like, no, bro, I can't do it, bro. I cannot do it, bro.
Well,
Like, they cannot
well,
resonate with me as a African, not fucking American,
well,
because you can't be African and American at the same time. You got to be either or. But as a black descendant, however you want to call it, she cannot. She can yell all day at that white boy, but that nigga still got the drop on me, bro, and he's still in charge of that trigger. Ain't no fucking way. No way. And it's hard for me to fathom that. It's hard for me to think about that with my daughter. It's hard for me to think of that with my brown son, who's very light skinned, red. Chaka, you know my son. Very light skinned, red little dude. My daughter, who takes up her mother melanin. And it's like, I just can't see it, bro. It's like, I'm that comedian nigga that makes jokes about this shit in the day, but like, nigga, I really killed this little motherfucker. Like, nigga, like you think you was getting your dick sucked? Nah, motherfucker, you dead. You're gone. You're out. You're out of here. Like,
but nah, but I'm gonna tell you,
I'm
say, bro.
finna be off with his head. Like, literally, Wu-Tang Clan
Let me
type
read
of shit.
Doc's.
Like,
Let me
Nah,
read Doc's
well,
comment. He said, Jesus said, obey the laws of man. That being said, the laws of man can be changed when properly changed, the moral right, and that is the duty of the man of God. And the other
man,
comment,
well,
is
yeah.
snow bunnies are real. Some people like them. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey,
man,
but yeah,
that's some fake
that's true.
shit, nigga.
That's true. But look, I'm gonna tell you, man, because there's beautiful women all over the spectrum. Like I love women, and I've enjoyed women of all different cultures, background, races, whatever you want to call it. That I I like I said, I love women, but for whatever reason, I found to be more troublesome in life to for me dating a white woman because of the judgmental state of human beings. So I mean, that's where most of the problem lies, because otherwise, shoot, maybe me and her would have been together today, but or at least longer than we were. But overall, I had to say that um you know it's it if people weren't so judgmental and allowed humans to be humans, that might not be a problem. And thinking of the problems that two adults were having because of race, just imagine you bringing in children into that, you know, you know, into that same issue where people, kids are mean, or can be just as mean as adults, where they calling names and you know this, that, and the
Yeah,
third. So I mean,
exactly.
you're almost like, for in a lot of cases, like you may be setting up your own child by putting them in a position where not where they have to choose, but at the them having to deal with a lot of pain that you know
It's
they're not
unnecessary.
prepared for. Yeah.
And I'm glad you say that, Pat, because this is my outlet. I have never expressed this to neither of my kids. I really haven't. But I am so concerned, bro. Like, my daughter, I remember walking in, I remember, like, bro, I literally, like, God honest truth, and I'm being 100 with y'all, bro. I'm sharing some shit that I thought I would never share. But I remember coming home off the road and my wife telling me, "Go talk to your daughter. I don't know what's wrong with her." And I go in there and I talk to her, and she's literally crying because she's watching a concert of Justin Bieber, and she feels connected. And I'm like, oh my God, this little white motherfucker, I don't have his money, but like, I would kill this little motherfucker. Like, dog, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, for me, it's like,
Well,
it's
and
like
you know,
my son being so talented in baseball, and all of these white teams want him, but then you got this black team that's 15 minutes down the road that want him, and me deep inside, I want him to go play with the black kids. I don't want him with the white kids, but I want him with the black kids. But his
yeah,
mama, she's so on the white side because the white people treat her so good, but she don't see that because me, even though I'm a light skinned nigga, these white folks, they treat me like shit, but they love because they love you because of what you do for them. But at the same time, I see through them and I'm like, fuck these white people. Like, fuck, like, bro, oh my God. Like, I'm telling you, I feel like the minute they give me the side eye, bro, I literally have to, I gotta walk away. I have to
yeah.
walk away. The minute I say, "Hey man, how you doing? How's your day? Hey, what's up?" and you don't say shit to me and you look at me, like to me, being who I am and from the era that I'm from, that is disrespect. And I've seen niggas get bitch slapped over that. Like literally, Chaka will tell you I was like Chaka hood, but I'm hood. I was in the grimy. Like this nigga will tell you I know everything. And I don't, but I'm different. And I come and the biggest thing for me, Pat, I know I'm getting off topic. I've had to tone myself down and I hate the fact that I seem like such a bitch because people have played me, but I'm so fucking gutter, bro. I'm so gutter.
I feel you, man. But
Like
we gotta do what we
I'm
gotta do to
so
survive,
fucking gutter.
and
Like
also for our family.
even my wife's people, they don't realize.
They emasculate us
Like
so
they
many
don't
ways.
realize, bro. Like black folks don't realize. Like, bro, do you realize the narcissistic brother that you have come across? Like, nigga, I will body you and I will play. I will show face and tell these folks like I don't know what happened. And the whole time I got you buried. Like dog, I am that dude, bro. And it's like, don't and people don't realize my wife don't know this shit about me. Like, I am so that, but I'm so humbled. I
Yeah, I
am
mean,
so humbled and I'm appreciative of
when you become a husband and a father, you
You gotta
know,
make some
you
sacrifices.
you got to
You,
make judgments that is going to be beneficial for the whole,
yeah.
and it doesn't make you a bitch, it doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you any of that. It makes you smart because
Yes.
it's just the fact that what would you rather leave your family behind to or your kids to be raised by somebody else because you made a rash decision
He's
and that's
within a
why
moment.
I think about that.
just
I think about
and if
that, big
y'all
brother Pat,
if you just
big
look at
brother
the
Chaka, big brother
statistics,
Pat.
listen, dudes,
I
look at the
think about those
statistics
things.
of the how old like black girls, like more black boys are born than black girls, I want to say, as when they're like the
Girls
numbers
are
are around the
always
same.
girls are
It's
more
something
prevalent.
that, but no, it's because as they grow older, it's less and less boys. That's what happens. They die. They don't fucking make it, bro. It's basically what I'm saying. The numbers show adult black males, adult black females, and the numbers be close together when they're babies, but when they get about 25, it's like a huge difference.
I'm
It's
a blessing, and
like
I say that every day.
like
That's
1 to 10.
why I am. I don't even know if this is the correct word, but that's why I am infinite. Like I show so much gratitude. I'm so humble because I know it could have went the other way for me, and I'm not. And let me be clear for the record, I'm not that guy, but I am that guy. I'm not that guy,
No, I feel you say, bro.
but I am that guy.
Look, bro.
You
I'm
know
gonna
what I'm
tell you.
saying?
I mean, look, the way I was, because I was very quiet when I was young or whatever. But I think maybe because of a lot of the bullshit I let slide, when I got to a certain age and a certain confidence level, it was just kind of like, like a part of me just changed. And I'm still a very modest, very, humble type guy. But if it really came down to it, because like I'm more afraid of me than I think I am of anybody else, because of some of the things that I actually like. I've been in some fights that I didn't know, like in the moment I didn't know happened. So I blacked out and totally like I lost it, and people had to tell me what happened and their fear, like the way they looked at me after that, just like, okay, made me have to reassess myself and make sure that I avoid
Yes. And
certain
it's about
things.
it's about knowing thyself. Also, it's also about elevating yourself too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feeding your higher self. Because resorting sometimes violence is necessary. This is what I'll state that clear.
Oh
Sometimes
yeah.
violence is necessary, but
Yeah.
violence is a lower self thing. You know what I mean? For the most part, animalistic even. So higher self. There's other ways to deal with situations, without the violence.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's true. That is very true. But I just,
Those
man,
moments I'm
like,
not a proud that those moments I'm not proud of, but at the same time, uh like I said, I mean, I know that I have to be very cautious of people I let into my circle, because if things get too crazy, maybe that same thing will happen again. And like I
yeah.
said, I mean, I left out, like I've had fights with like 5 guys at one time, and it was bad for them, not me. I left with no scratches.
Let,
So
Yeah.
let me change the subject, because the
that's
title of the show I haven't even covered yet. Is two subjects that we have to talk about, and we're over 2 hours. We're 2.5 hours, and I don't want this to get to 4 hours.
all right.
So
Let's go.
let me
Man, hey, we go over your little bro. I chunk you the extra. Real
check.
talk, like for real.
Three days after the
Because
Biden
this is such
administration.
a passionate situation, bro.
Yeah.
When I
Well,
think
check.
about my baby, oh my god,
We'll come
bro.
back.
Like,
We'll come back to the subject. Check this out.
COVID vaccine or test mandate for private companies with more than 100 workers started to take effect. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court blocked it, writing that OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, did not have the power to regulate public health. The mandate had affected some 80 million Americans, including James Crocker's employees at his Florida company.
I saw this mandate from the very beginning as perhaps the greatest example of government overreach.
President Biden called the ruling disappointing, arguing that if his administration had not put vaccination requirements in place, we would now be experiencing a higher death toll from COVID-19 and even more hospitalizations. The ruling was 6-3, with the 6 conservative justices in the majority and the 3 liberal justices dissenting. But in a separate 5-4 decision, the High Court allowed similar COVID requirements to stand for medical facilities that take Medicare or Medicaid payments.
It will cover 17 million healthcare workers at 76,000 medical facilities. The Supreme Court upheld it, and we will enforce that.
It all comes as the Biden administration scrambles to fight a frustratingly resurgent pandemic, vaccine misinformation.
Okay. Let me play one more,
that's
and
funny.
we'll do all of it together. Let me play one more little clip. This is the Oath Keepers thing.
Conspiracy. January 6th now, a militia group had stashes of guns on the outskirts of D.C. ready to go on that fateful day during the insurrection. That's just one of the alarming allegations from the Justice Department today after the feds charged the leader and several members of the right-wing group, the Oath Keepers, with seditious conspiracy. That'll ring a bell. Here's the leader, Stuart Rhodes. He's a former Army paratrooper with a law degree from Yale. The FBI arrested him today. Federal investigators say the Oath Keepers had what they called quick reaction force teams stationed just outside the Capitol and the nation's capital on January 6th. Their job? To rapidly transport guns into the city as needed to stop the peaceful transfer of presidential power. The Oath Keepers also had teams on the ground at the Capitol who used a military-style stack formation to force their way into the building. You can see them here walking through the mob in formation, single file line, holding onto the militia member in front of them. The Department of Justice alleges they had paramilitary gear, knives, batons, camouflaged combat uniforms, tactical vests with plates, plus helmets and eye protection. In an interview with the New York Times over the summer, that very man, Rhodes, claimed he and had some of the Oath Keepers had gone off their mission, and there were zero instructions from him or the group's leadership to enter the Capitol building. The government reports it has some evidence to the contrary. NBC News Justice correspondent Pete Williams with us now. What else are the feds revealing here, Pete?
Well, a lot of what what you've just described was in the original Oath Keepers indictment, reincorporated today, and what they add now is a lot more than we didn't see before. From encrypted app communications chats that Stuart Rhodes had sent to his leadership team. And what the government says is that as early as 2 days after the election, he began messaging his team saying that they needed to prepare for violence to try to stop the vote count and prevent Joe Biden from formally being elected president, and that he repeated this and amped it up in the months that followed, eventually coming to Washington on January 6th, but not entering the Capitol. And another new thing here, Shep, is they say that after the January 6th siege of the Capitol, he continued to plan for violence, continued to message his supporters, and spent $17,500 himself buying weapons.
The seditious conspiracy charge, clearly the most serious one filed yet.
Okay. We could talk about whatever now. I just wanted to cover those two things because they were in the title. So, whatever. What y'all want to say? About any of that stuff.
I don't mean to get the first jump, but
Go ahead.
when it comes to Joe Biden, you know my opinion. I'm very mad at our people because our people were the first to say that they don't want no more hope.
Yeah, you
Talking
mean
directly to the
black people are the
folks,
ones.
our people.
Yeah, they're the ones who put him in office.
Our
really.
people.
Yeah, they put him in office.
Our people stated on the record that they didn't want no more hope. And they went and elected on the record racists who don't give a shit about our economy, our civilization as people, our ghettos, our hoods, our people moving forward in life. He is about leaving a legacy behind. That's all he cares about, and his crackhead son. So, or his drug addict son. He got money, so he probably not doing crack. He probably doing the good shit. But that's my opinion about it. I don't believe in this dude. He's I'm seeing the way our economy, our people are going, and not only just our people, the world. Let me say that. Let me not be on the black train for a second. The U.S. as we know it, the way that it has gone. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. It's devastating. It is in my opinion, they have committed a genocide on their own people. Someone who was elected, who was voted to be out, President Trump, totally done away with Dr. Fauci, and this motherfucker was elected and brought back in to, let me say this on the record, okay? My brother Chaka and I does not have the same mother nor father, but we were raised in the same household. But my mother has been vaccinated with both, has been boosted, and who is right now. That's the reason why I'm back in town. Who is now dying because the vaccination has worked against her. Who is telling people to get vaccinated, and this vaccination is killing more people that is vaccinated than those that aren't vaccinated. And our people elected this motherfucker in office.
It's the neoliberalism I would blame. I can't blame Biden. It's neoliberalism. Doc says mandates. The question at hand is, where does the authority to declare these mandates come from? And that's what stuck out from the video the most to me, because that's what the Supreme Court said. It said OSHA has no jurisdiction to tell everybody to have, to mandate this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But OSHA is government ran.
Yes, it's a government.
Go ahead, my bad, Pat. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, the overreach has been definitely appalling to me because, there's a lot of things that, because of the media control, the mind control that the media has over the people has, steered people in a direction that they believe is the right thing to do. And, when you've been accustomed to being a follower, that's, you don't do your own research or, open your mind to other options when you have, certain groups of people that, have placed themselves to think for you.
It sucks so bad. That's what I hate the neoliberals so much. They just like to spoon feed. And it's like the Democrats, they just like, there's like, oh, you're just little baby. You can't do this on your own. I'm going to just take care of this for you. Let us take care of it. We got you. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. We're going to spoon feed you. We're going to baby feed you. We're going to bottle feed you. That's what I hate about it so much.
That's that bullshit about government. This Democratic regime wholeheartedly believe that government knows best and that government should be governing your life.
Yes, they do believe
in
that.
your decisions and what you do. And it's like, bro, that's not true.
That's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful. It's saying that I'm not smart enough to be able to have my own autonomy, you know what I mean, to be able to make good decisions in my life.
What happened to having inalienable rights?
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like, I was born with a God-given right that no man should ever be able to override and, take from me. And because of, their idea, their mindsets to believe that they can even come in and, overstep the boundaries that were set in place for this government. I was preaching all that, like, there's nowhere in our Constitution that says anything about democracy, but somehow, that's what they preach, or they scream at the rooftops as if that is the superior form of government for this state, this country.
And clearly it's not, because that's the reason why that the particular three, that's one thing that's good about the United States Constitution when it came up with the three parts of government, because they wanted neither group to have more power than the other, and each one to check each other, so that you can never have a king, that the totalitarianism, basically that we're experiencing now.
But things could be so different. Like I said, I tell they like Trump. I'm not like a Trump fan. I'm sure that we could have had somebody much better than Trump in office, but the things that he did while he was in office is saving us now, because like a lot of the Supreme Court justices that he put in place still believe in Constitution.
I can't agree with that one. Doc says government control over business, communism. The only difference I see right now is who's holding the gun to my head as they say I cannot have one. That's a good point. But what you said about the Supreme Court justices, I disagree with that. And they're about to, what they're bringing in is they're bringing the old school back, is what they're doing. And that agenda of the Supreme Court justices was not a Trump agenda. That was already happening before Trump was ever even on the scene. They used him as a pawn. They used him as a tool to get done what they was trying to get done, and he helped them. Like, see, the thing is, Trump did some good things in some areas. I agree with that. But as far as the Supreme Court justices that got put on during his time, no, I don't agree with that. Pretty much all the ones that got put in there. The guy, what his name? Merrick Garland. I think it's Merrick Garland. What the fuck? I suck at the names. One of them is okay. The other ones that got in, they're all like a part of the agenda to make this, like, I don't know, us to go back into history, us to go back into the past. They want the United States to be like it was like in the 1950s and shit, 1940s or whatever.
Well,
I feel like
roaring 20s. I don't know. They're trying to make it go back.
Well, I mean, I think we, to some extent, I'm not talking like, going back into slavery or anything like that, but I think that there's certain principles that because I don't know if you saw some of the questions that because I didn't know, like I didn't know if you had any show ideas for today, but I sent 2 questions that maybe we could arise for the show or whatever in your text messages. But like one of my biggest questions is, like, is it too late for us to reestablish principles that can get us on track to be great? And like, I don't want to go with this whole MAGA, make America great again, because maybe there were some short periods of times where things were great, but because of the dualities that we can go back and forth with all these different ideas, is partially what I believe is that weakens our country. Because I mean, there needs to be, like, our Constitution. I don't know to say if our Constitution is perfect, but I think that it has a lot of great ideas that, if they were actually followed and enforced or allowed to be, exemplified, that we can be better people. And we're at much more of a place where racism, it's still prevalent, but I don't think it's as strong as it was in the days that they're saying that they're trying to relive. So
that's the point. That's the problem, because the argument of manufacturing, I would agree with that. That part, but manufacturing back then, we did a lot more manufacturing, and we should do more manufacturing. But culturally back then, niggas was treated like shit, and it was a utopia for only select group of people, and everybody else was suffering.
Well, I mean, honestly, during a lot of those times, like, as far as work was concerned, black people did very well, even the early 1900s.
Yeah, and there's an argument, because I didn't realize it till I was reading something about how segregation was good for blacks, and when integration happened, it was bad for blacks in the manner related to ownership, businesses, even the sports.
But we look at cities like Houston, bro. Back in the day, Houston's like cities. I mean, Houston like cities. Cities like Houston, black folks thrived back then. Cities like Memphis, Tennessee. Okay, I'm talking about water-based cities. Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis. All of those cities thrived back then. Even with racism, these folks were empowered. Black folks had machine jobs. They had machinery jobs. They operated huge equipment that offloaded the ships in Houston, in Memphis, in St. Louis. These cities were based off of that. They came in and they seen how well minorities are doing in these cities, that created a culture where it was okay for you to not only be alpha male, but to be a man that got an education, and they done away with it. That's why you see Memphis is a hood. That's why you see parts of Houston that's a hood. That's why you see the whole St. Louis
Gary,
area
Indiana.
as a fucking hood. Gary, Indiana.
Chicago.
They
Like,
Chicago.
Detroit.
They took those jobs away because of racism.
How great that
And you
they
got
were
people
doing
on the
very well.
And
they
that's
were doing very
related.
well. And you
That's
and you and
related
you
to the
take and you take
manufacturing.
and
All of those places y'all
no,
named had plants.
That shit, that's not manufacturing.
Yeah.
You can't blame that on manufacturing. That is partly a soul of motherfuckers who we had in power, like Biden and all of the rest of these racist motherfuckers that have been on the Congress and Senate and all of these years, that have
Yeah.
been on the record racist, that have completely done away with our people. So I can't even stand on that argument, and I can't even give black people that credit. You voted for a motherfucker that done away with the jobs, that allowed the abscess, the disease to come into our cities and our towns and our hoods to overtake people. This motherfucker is in power right now, bro. And
But
I
you
don't
can't.
care. Hey,
American
this ain't
jobs.
about being an activist. This ain't about being a caring mother. This is about facts. This motherfucker was against you as a brown, light-skinned ass dude that you are, and the rest of the light-skinned niggas and niggas in America
But you
that came
cannot.
against us and wanted to.
You're giving Biden too much credit.
To black people's defense, because I mean the media is very powerful, and just the idea, because they have really made people believe that that was the best choice, and that's where because the neoliberalism that Chaka speaks so eloquently about is, like the whole, and it's Republicans involved in that as well.
Yeah.
But we have to really, be careful. But when we looking at it from that standpoint, because it really doesn't matter. It's a bunch of people who have fought against us to be able to, like you at the same time, what you're saying, that had some hatred for certain groups of people, that knows, demographically where majority people were and how well these people were doing, and hated to see that. So
And those labels like Republican, Democrat, or even saying the names of Biden, Trump, it causes confusion, because the main point is what you're saying, Pat, is it's certain people, certain groups of people who still hold this in their heart, and they're making this shit happen, and they have over time, and you can't blame Biden, for all of this. He's not
well,
that
no, I mean,
powerful.
because he had a job, he had a an idea, because I mean he's been around for 60 years in
Yeah,
politics
he
alone.
definitely had a hand in it. I would say
Yeah,
that.
so
Definitely.
he's had a long time to conspire with others to be able to get it to this point. But we gotta really, just think about this, man. Like the changes that has happened, like American jobs, because I do believe in innovation and technology, but do we, allow those things to overreach ourselves? Do we, allow the technologies and innovations to, because like we're in a position where the smallest percentage of people are going to benefit the same way they did before, as they, or even more in the future, because they can wipe out the workforce.
Yeah.
They like
Robots.
what were American jobs had first was taken away and given away to other countries, other communities outside of America. But then at the same time, while they're still getting all the things done that they needed, they were innovating and building robotics, things that
And
can operate systems that
and,
humans were doing.
and that's why people need to wake up, because look at the banks. Like, remember, it used to have a bunch of bank tellers. Now the bank might have 2 or 3 tellers in it. It's all through the ATM machines. Same
Yeah,
thing with the fast food
but
restaurants now. Like, you order through the kiosks. They have less and less people that they need to do these jobs like
and
that.
I'm gonna tell you, like I hate going to the little checkouts myself. I'm like, wait a minute, these motherfuckers done put me to work.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. My daughter always be like, just go through the no, man. Fuck that. No, I'm going through the line with a person. I want to deal with a person. I don't, because the damn computer be pissing me off anyways when you be trying to scan shit, or if you put too much weight or you move it around and then now you got to ask the people for help. And that shit just frustrates. It feels like, oh, I'm trying to steal. I'm a bad guy, because the damn thing might start ringing a bell and lights start shining and shit, and then people looking at
I
me.
wish,
I
cause see
don't like
that
that shit.
we're part of the problem too, because we allow these processes to, because I mean, we're so hell bent on these conveniences where, we're robbing each other of livelihood. If we all protested these machines, these self checkout centers, and we only wait in line, okay, all right, well, we're just gonna wait in line until
I
I
could
can
deal with a
come through.
person,
I
a
could deal
real
with
person.
a
Just
human
like
being.
whenever you're trying to call somebody or deal with something over the phone, especially if it's government, trying to get a real person on the phone is so fucking difficult. Like, can I just talk to somebody and tell them what my problem is so they could just, because it's like that with my school. Whenever I have to do anything, like through the counselors or whatever, and then so I can't have a face to face now because of Corona, but then they send you an email. But when they send you an email, it's full of all of this fucking information. Like, I just have a simple fucking question, bro. Like, it could be answered with a sentence, a couple of sentences, but you
No,
send me
the
5
FAQ,
pages of
the F,
shit that I gotta
the,
dig through, and it's like
no,
all the information you need is there. The answer to your question is there, but I gotta dig through 5 pages of shit to find the fucking one sentence that I'm looking for.
but no, the irritating, one of the irritating parts for me is the FAQ. You know what I'm saying? They will quickly send you to frequently frequently asked questions.
Yeah,
Now I gotta go through all of these different questions to see if it fits anything that I'm trying, and I'm like, this is fucking bullshit.
this is
You know?
bullshit. Cause see, but because see, the thing is, they put a cloud over everybody's eyes. We're old enough to know to be around
That is bullshit.
when you could get on the phone and get a person on the fucking phone whenever
Yeah.
you was dealing with whatever the hell you was dealing with. Nowadays,
Man,
getting a
that's just
person,
like Verizon. They the same fucking way,
you
bro.
it's every company.
Verizon.
You can't get
And
no fucking person on the fucking phone, not a human. That's like you hit the lottery, man. And to do it, you also have to go through the whole their whole fucking thing and wait about 10 minutes or something just to get through the whole process to ask to hit the number. Like, okay, so if you want to speak to an operator, you can press 0. But they're not gonna tell you that until after everything, like and
but
then it's
look,
gonna be like, then
All
they're gonna
right.
say they're
but
gonna
through
say
it
it's
all,
327 people in front of you. So if you want to wait,
uh,
otherwise you could just get online and just
yeah, go chat with some robot. But it's crazy that most of us, some of us have realized, but a lot of us have not realized that they have been training us for the last 2 decades to dislike or separate ourselves from each other, and it became way more prevalent since the pandemic, that
Yeah.
like where it's regulate or
I really think that's really what's
restrictions.
happening. More than
Yeah.
because, like you were saying about making it less people being the ultimate reason. I think the ultimate reason for all of this, because we're in the end game, I think, and it's to separate people. It's to
Well,
separate us.
and that's really their biggest strength is to try to keep us separated from each other. Like this is not even a race thing or whatever. But
Nothing.
if you really look at all the perspectives of most businesses or most thought like leaders, that thought leaders, like their biggest thing is to find ways to separate men and women, separate people by race and culture, by
And
you know
household to household, fucking
yeah, we talked about
Republican,
it maybe
Democrat, uh,
yes, they've been
uh, liberal, conservative, libertarianism,
yeah.
atheist, Christian, Muslim. I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many.
yes, and that's the main thing, because even though the principles of life are clear, and that's why I think like at the core why I relate so much to the universal laws or the laws of attraction and things like that, is because it makes it very simple to live life with core principles, core things that really matter, things that can help you decide between right and wrong simply.
And
So
it's you. And these core principles are universal, and they work for everybody all around the
anywhere
world, no
on the
matter
planet, anywhere in the planet,
what their culture is or what language they speak. Doc
anywhere
says,
on the
"Are
planet.
you looking at the people or the Supreme Court record? Several of them have voted against their party and even stated beliefs because it was not allowed by the Constitution." He says, "I was 9 years old and remember in '77 Biden saying, 'Unless we do something about this, my children are going to grow up in a jungle. The jungle being a racial jungle with tensions have built so high that it's going to explode at some point.'"
I don't know if
One
those
more
was his. No,
one more
the
comment.
all right.
Shut down bars, restaurants, gatherings, mask people, dehumanize their faces, isolate them, divide them by differences, allow as many as possible access to the Thunderdome, social media. Oh man, we living in Mad Max,
Hey, you
the
said a
futuristic.
mouthful, Doc. He
We
said a
living in Mad
mouthful.
Max. Go ahead.
Well, and honestly, like it would probably be better off if it was more like Mad Max, like because I mean at least there was still some human interaction. Like at this point, they're getting it to where like they've already started conforming our children to you know dealing with each other through internet and social media, playing these video games where you can interact, but never have to actually deal with a real person. Like you come up with these avatars of something that doesn't even have to be you, so like you like it's even making you disconnect from who you know yourself to be. Like you're creating things that you don't have to be real. And then when you're dealing with like it's a dog and pony show. um it's
It's
really
it's the Matrix, bro. It's just like the
it it
Matrix. That's why
it's the
in the movie The Matrix, your avatar was your mental digital image of yourself. But that wasn't your real self. That was the way you saw yourself or whatever. Like,
exactly,
you know,
or how you want to present yourself to the
right.
people. And it's like and they're doing they're it's gone so far, like we really have to try to take as much control as we can, because I don't want to keep my son from living the life like I guess uh the average person. I don't want to say normal, because I mean a lot of this is abnormal, but like the average kid, and not being able to interact in some of these places. But at the same time, I'm also make sure I try to talk to him and make him realize, a lot of these things that he's dealing with and seeing. Because I mean, and then, like you really don't even know who you really interacting with. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's so much
people,
confusion and fakeness.
you started identifying these people that you interact with online as friends. Where for me, a friend, there's much more to it than what they have.
Consider today is and and,
Yeah.
and it's funny what you said, Pat, because that's the same thing I fight with my daughter within myself, is how much do I allow her to absorb this world, you know what I'm saying, so she won't be basically an outcast, and how do I balance that with like reality, basically,
Yeah, because you don't want to be a buzzkill as a parent and feel and have your child thinking that you just have you have no relativity, like you just don't get the world.
Yeah,
But at the same time,
detached.
you yeah you want to be teach them to have that balance for themselves where they can see the what's the real and what's the fake, or
Yeah,
you
and
know
be able
what's
to make good decisions in their life, and also being able to, like, we was talking about, I was talking to somebody and we was talking about how, like, if all the damn fast food restaurants just closed overnight, a lot of people will be fucked, because a lot of people completely depend on these fast food places, like they literally don't know how to cook. So like basic skills to live. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
you can't rely on, because it could happen. All the fast, I mean, crazy. Call me crazy, but it could happen. You know what I mean? Whatever. The lights go out or something. We have an ice
Dude,
storm that keeps going or something. You're gonna have
dude,
to figure something out. Go
yeah.
ahead.
McDonald's workers were considered essential workers during the pandemic.
And I wouldn't disagree with that.
They were essential workers during the pandemic.
Yeah, they're essential.
That's insane.
They're essential because there's so many people that completely rely, you know, they get their food from every day. They get, you know,
At
something
least
like,
one meal. At least the average person gets at least one meal from fast food every day.
yeah. So and that's the average level. So I'm sure there's people on the extremes of that, and
They
and
have
how
two or
much
three.
and how much impact would it have on their life if all the restaurants close? What all I'm trying to say is that people need to have basic skills, how to grow food, how to
Well,
cook,
I mean, a lot of our generation, because I mean, we could,
how to catch food.
I don't really want to be the point the finger or blame game, but I'm just really just trying to point out where some of these changes happen was, of course, when they start, like, well, I don't know if you can blame government or whatever, but when families started splitting up, when it became okay to split your family up and go different directions, one parent homes where there's no one, there's a person that used to handle certain things, making sure your kids ate nutritional foods, and where that person that used to do that now has to be going to work for so many hours just to be able to have a
and,
home.
and it's also related to the government, because the government got bigger. I guess it was around the 80s. So the government got bigger, and these subsidy programs or whatever, like the child support or whatever you want to call it, the different
Welfare.
programs, the different welfare programs, and those were the ones that helped break the household up, because the woman didn't necessarily need, and then with the way the government programs were set up, she would get more money if she said there was no guy around.
Yes, exactly. So, and like when I was a kid, even though like because like most of my family were like traditional, like the man worked and brought the wife stayed at home, took care of the family, but they also grew food. Like they also had at least a garden where they can grow some of their own food so that they wouldn't have to buy everything from the store. And like that takes away from that's a generation of people that mostly our generation that got that like for me as a young kid, like before I was a teenager, that a lot of that was happening. After, like, I'll even say maybe by the time I was 10, a lot of that stuff was going away. And that was
And that's what
in the
they did to us. It's the convenience, right? Because we always talk about convenience store, it's like the gas station and the fast food restaurants. They're convenient, the grocery store too. It's convenient.
Walmart is a convenience store. Like nobody, just because a lot of people look at Circle K and the little corner stores as a convenience store, but no, Walmart is the convenience store of convenience stores.
So that's how they got us. So like growing food to supplement your, like even though you go to the grocery store or whatever every now and then, growing some food is inconvenient. You know what I mean? It takes time and effort and patience and all of this and knowledge and skill and all of this.
Yes.
So that's another way we depend on the government, because these grocery stores are kind of, they make us dependent. Doc said, when I was growing up in the 80s, it was about what we had in common. Now it's about what makes us, why are we different? This is a problem. Yeah, so like you said though, like us depending on the government and depending on the corporations. So that's the other thing I be talking about, mixing up the corporations with the governments, because your job is what you depend on for everything, because they pay for your lights, they pay for your rent, they pay for you to go to the fast food restaurant, they pay for you to go to the grocery store. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's when you go back and you look at the natives, the way they were living off the land, and all of the shit that happened, the way that they beat them was forcing them to submit to this system of going to the store instead of buying instead of catching your food. Because how can you control? You can't control a population that can go out there and get their food whenever they want to. How you gonna get them to go to work?
Exactly.
A person that knows how to build his own shelter, how you gonna get him to pay rent?
Yeah, I mean, look, look, I'm gonna tell you, with my like the way things were, like my uncle, like I saw my uncle, my grandfather, like different, through when I was like in my early age, like they would go buy young piglets, raise them up. They had cows, and like my grandfather ran a dairy, so that was getting milk was no issue at all. Butter, oh, like my grandmother turned cream into butter and all this kind of stuff. They grew a bunch of food, so they were totally self-sufficient. They like they would go to the store for little shit, like barely ever. But I mean, when you really looking at it like that, you don't have to go to the butcher. I mean, and they had a service where you could take your meat to, and they would cut it for you, but you're not buying the meat and the cut all at the same time. It's just you paying for somebody to cut your stuff, and then you can go throw it in your deep freezer and pull it out as you please when after the different slaughter. But all those things were, I mean, I hate to say stolen away, because I mean it was things that we could have continued, but because of the ideas that were sold to the people, the city life is where it's at, and Industry was growing, and in order to be near the industries and get these nice jobs, you had to at least be close to the city. But which it was a blessing and a curse. But when they gave us all these opportunities to do that, and then they turn around, they put us in a situation where, because if the industry would have continued, this wouldn't necessarily be a problem, for the majority. But because when they took these jobs away, they had pulled all these people out of the country into the city to work these industrial jobs, and then they take those same jobs away. So now you're in the middle of somewhere you don't have close family, or friends that you just developed within the past decade or whatever. You've gotten used to a certain lifestyle, and all of these jobs are gone. That was the biggest setup in our like our in our lifetime. That was like when you really look at it at the really core, like that was a huge setup by our government corporations, because they are in cahoots together. That was the one of the biggest setups ever, because they've gotten people, they convinced all these people to go you know into this idea, then they took it all away. It's I digress.
I'm sorry. I'm scrolling while you're talking because I agree with everything that you're saying. Like, I can't argue with none of that.
Yeah.
It's and also it's such a big deal that it's funny how they do such huge things, but they do it gradually and people just kind of accept it. I think that's what's happening now. Like back then,
I
that was
think
a
people
big
should have
thing.
paid attention when they stopped. I feel like people should have paid attention when America done away with the farmers, the house, like literally the farmers of America. When they done away with them and they incorporated corporations within farming for America, I think people should have paid attention then. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime that you stop the small business and you incorporate, you know what I'm saying, when you incorporate an entity that's bigger than 10 farmers, that becomes a household name that regulates all of the meat. You got a place like you got a company like Tyson, which is owned by Don Tyson, that not only does chicken, but he does pork, he does beef. You got his beef company is IBP. When you introduce household names that are bigger than the 5 farmers that and these farmers create, not create, but they produce amongst a community.
Yeah, and I really wish that our parents, grandparents, whatever, had thought a little bigger than, and mostly our parents, because it was more during the time of the baby boomer time, when the transitioning was happening. But if they had thought bigger, it's like, well, all these different industries were coming up. We have farms. We're doing the same thing that a lot of these people doing. If they would have combined some of those farms and came together, like they could have created some of the monopoly themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they,
Exactly.
And I
like
think that was happening. And then when they did integration, that broke that shit up. And I was watching a video about one of the black cities, and they were saying how, like, what happened was they elected a bunch of black officials for the city. So the government became like, black or whatever. And then all the white capital left the city.
That's just
So
like our It's almost like our children that are superb athletes that get these full ride to these schools that are white
I meant to
schools.
touch
You
on
know what
that
I'm
earlier
saying? They don't
because
they don't
that's
go to HBCUs. They go
that
to Alabama. They go to
that's
Miami.
another
They
thing
go
that
to
happened.
Georgia State.
If y'all go back and look at the history, you'll see that those HBCUs before integration, they had huge crowds of people who supported their sports programs because the biggest stars, of course, was out there. So and everybody, I mean, it was segregated, but you know how it was back then. Black people didn't really care when the segregated areas. Other people was involved too. You know what I mean? In the black areas, it was other groups that was with them,
Yeah, because they, they
and
saw they saw a benefit why this Negro should go to an all white school. This
and
Negro,
that's one of the
because
things
of
they
his
did
skill, is
in
go, is
integration.
gonna take this high
So
school,
think about
who
this.
is a failing high school, to
They're
state.
taking the
Like,
best athletes from these local or possibly, these black neighborhoods, and they're sending them over here to these white schools. For these white schools, they make a bunch of fucking money.
but
That's
let me
another
argue.
argument.
Can I argue this question? Can I argue this question? Because you know I get it and I understand exactly where you guys are coming from, but where is the household that say, look here, man, these white folks don't care nothing about you, they care about your talent. And you direct them as a father, as a mother, to HBCU.
I'm,
You direct them in a different
look,
direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we point the finger at this or that, and I understand that's the upper echelon. I understand these folks had the power, but that is my biggest argument. Black folks,
well,
colored folks don't realize the power that we have. If
well,
we
no,
stop
look, no,
sending our
no, no,
kids to
no.
these schools, I'm sorry, Pat. Go ahead, brother.
Well, no, I think y'all are missing something because I mean, these some of these schools that y'all are marking as HBCUs are state-funded schools, just like most of these others. And
Mhm.
the same, they could have chosen to fund some of these quote unquote HBCUs over these other schools, but and they could have ended up bringing in white coaches and like all the same structures that you see at these what you call now big schools, because any one of those schools could have become big schools and had great athletes at those schools. You can't,
Yeah.
like I don't really see those schools as being any different. Those a lot of
Well,
those schools were positioned so that they wouldn't have to deal with the Negroes. But then, of course, when it comes to sports programs, then yes, they try to pick the best out of whatever, and then bring those guys into those.
the schools, you got to move all.
So can I ask this question here? Just based off of what Pat is saying, it leads me to believe what this old head was telling me, that even the HBCUs got overtaken white white thinking, by white minds. You know what I'm saying? Where they led you to believe that this is a HBCU, that this is a all black college, but in
Yeah,
hindsight,
somebody,
behind the black folks, there was some white minds that ran this particular organization. Is that what ultimately led our talented blacks to these bigger schools, considering the fact that, hey, why should I go to HBCU when this white man is running it? I might as well go here where I'm gonna be. My talent is gonna be
because
broadcasted.
because it's a whole thing. Because when you're trying to get signed for the NFL or the NBA or whatever, you want to be
yeah,
at one of them schools that's going to get you recognition. If you at one of them little
yes,
little black schools and you super talented, that you may not ever be seen, so you don't get signed. You want to get seen so you can get signed. And to get
yeah.
seen, you need to play in one of the big games. To be in the big games, you got to be in one of those big schools because that's how it's set up. They don't even
So
play
it, it
against.
so so is that's what. So let me ask you this here. Is that what TSU is? Is TSU a school that's driven by white minds and not black minds? Because that's what
Yep.
Michael Strahan is straight out of TSU.
Yep.
So did his parents send him there based off of white mentality running this school?
Well,
I
that's
mean,
a
we have
good.
to argue that question.
That's a good argument, but TSU. I mean, TSU is a big school, and I wonder who owns it. And we should look at that. And but what I'm saying is, these smaller schools, the smaller, we just need to go back to the moment when integration was happening and how the sports programs and how that whole system. I was
It
just
was
watching a video.
manipulation. It was
I just watched.
manipulation the whole time.
I was watching a video about the Heisman. The guy, he never graduated from college, and then it's like that's the trophy that they're trying to get, and it's like it's disrespectful. It's like they're using your bodies, like they're tearing up your knees and your ankles and your back, and they're making money off of this shit, and they don't even give a damn if you graduate, if you have a career afterwards or whatever, like. And then they get to pick and choose and pick the best people out of the community. So that's how they take leaders out of the community too. Like people that would have been, because like look at LeBron. Like LeBron is a big deal off the court too. You know what I mean? You take a guy like LeBron out of his community and make him move to Kentucky. I don't know.
But LeBron is also a part of that situation. See, this is why I say I don't trust our black celebrities that have made it and has a lot of money, because they become part of something totally different. They present themselves as though they are for the community when in all actuality they're being controlled by something else. So you look at a LeBron, a successful NBA player, ball player, basketball player. How much can he really say? Oh, my bad, Pat. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, I was just gonna add to what you were saying. But like you got to think about the small percentage of people that actually make it to the NBA, the NFL, the whatever. They they feel special. They're made to feel special, that they have an opportunity that very few people get, and that's where it becomes where you have to conform. Like in order to stay in this position that you're in, it's almost like it's systematic. So I mean, a lot of these guys, I mean, when some people step up, like, recently Kyrie stepping up and sticking to his guns on what he felt, like that's a rare thing. The average person, like some of the people we watch growing up, the Jordans, the Shaqs, this, that, and the other, where they come from these modest situations, but once they get to this certain point, they get used to the money coming in. Like they're gonna do what's necessary for their family to stay in a position that they're in.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't disagree with that. But there's cases like Shaq. What I'm saying is taking leaders out of the community. And LeBron does a lot of things behind the scenes for the community. Like
Yeah, but
Jay-Z.
would you be willing to argue that the things that he do
Write-offs,
behind the
tax
scenes
write-offs.
for the community are no? I'm not even talking about tax write off. Do you think that it's because of his own guilt, because he is now controlled by the masses?
No,
Because
he
this
could
man,
just.
dude, bro, but think about this. And I'm
What is
not
the
even
dude
talking
from
about on
Houston
some black.
with the
I'm not even
beard?
talking about.
He could
I
just
don't
go
care
to
about a
fuck
dude from Houston.
strippers.
We're talking about no. We're talking about this guy who is a
Important.
global person who is important. You know what I'm saying? Like
who was
beyond that.
made to be important. Like he was
Yeah.
he was uplifted by the system. Like
Yeah.
y'all can't, like that's
Yeah.
like you can't look past that. Like there's so many people. Like I remember from young, like I remember guys that I grew up with that was better than some of the people I was watching on TV. for when it comes to sports, basketball, football, it all. So these are some people that were chosen who fit the the I guess the mold that they could conform, that would they could use to for entertainment purposes, at different levels for themselves and for the people. So there's a lot of deep elements in this that I think sometimes we forget. But when like kind of going back to the whole HBCU thing, is that they could have chosen to uplift some of these HBCUs and had some of these professional players coming out of those schools. But the funding, like the funding is always up for question for HBCUs, because it was a fluke in the beginning. It was a
And
place to train black people to
and
to
and,
fit in.
and that's one of the things that I wish people would understand, because like what is it, Texas A&M, and there's another one. What's the other big Texas, the white school here?
U of H.
No, not U of H.
No, Texas University. You got Texas University. You got Texas Tech. You got Baylor.
I think it's Texas Tech. But anyways, there's two universities that are here in Texas that they get huge grants from the state of Texas. It's related to, I don't know, the law and shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like,
it's set in stone that they'll get like certain amount of funding for 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
Down, at a time.
It's not even fair. It's not
Yeah.
fair. These people get a whole bunch of money, and that's why they have the best facilities. Their facilities are badass. So nice facilities, money, a budget for good coaches. That's gonna attract talent.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like certain things. It's like, I mean, it makes it hard for a sane athlete to really be able, decide between, like, okay, if they have, they're shooting for professional, to be a professional athlete, like some schools is just going to totally be off the radar because it's not positioned to give them the outlet that they're looking for.
And that's what I mean. And so that's what I mean and it's all the way not fair and racial still, because the schools that get the fundings and the schools that don't, the schools that has the facilities and the schools that don't, the schools that have the coaches and administration and the schools that don't.
I mean that goes back to the programming that we do inside our homes, because you got these kids. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to do that. But we're not putting into, like TSU is a great school for kids that want to practice in the medical field. As
they got a law
to pharmacy.
I want to go to
school.
I want to go to the law school. That's my plan, is to go to TSU law. And that's my next step in my academic career. I want to go to Thurgood Marshall Law School. That's where I want to go. If they let me go there. And I also want to go to Rice University. So, Doc, let me read a couple of comments. Doc says, all I have to say is the academic degree mill. I don't really know what that means. Get your degree cheap, a promise of hope turned into bullshit, with useless degrees with no place function in the real world. Cough, gender studies, cough. And then he's got, I'm going to TSU for my bachelor's. There are more grants, money available for me as a white person, and it has a damn good education and speech programs.
Well, look, you know what, and he's kind of opened the door for his kind of segue into the thought I was having before. That is that the record, and we're because we're mostly looking at the sports side, but even academically, you don't get the same kind of like a lot of people are going to these bigger schools because wherever you go in this country or even outside of the country, if you're getting a job, like
It matters. It matters. Harvard,
who's gonna look at
Harvard,
Southern
Princeton.
University?
What's the other one? You can name the top 5 or whatever, the really big ones. If you're anybody, you had to go to Harvard, Princeton, or Stanford University. You know what I'm saying? And these are mostly white schools, and it's like, oh, this is where you get your best possible education. And then these are expensive schools too.
Very expensive, especially now. But yeah, like I mean, and that's the thing, like, you know, all of the recognition, because I mean, even the athletes have to look at the fact that, okay, you know, it's a small chance that I go to the pros, even being one of the best. So, you know, I might as well go to a school that's going to be recognized not just for the athletics, but also for the academics. So, you know, I graduate when they graduate, you know, they can still possibly get a job. You know, easier route of getting a job because, you know, they went to a prominent school. So it's a lot.
That's true.
It's a lot of those things that have to be considered. So
That is true. That is true.
I ain't gonna lie, guys. I got to get out of here, bro. I got another long day. I got a long weekend, but you know, thank God I was able to get a little bit of nap before the show. But I'm gonna have to get the rest of my rest so I can perform tomorrow.
Well, thank you for being
Man,
here, man.
where you at, Pat? If you don't mind sharing where you at, brother.
I think I'm still in Wisconsin right now. What is it?
Okay.
I forget the name of this little town. I say little town, but I think I'm in. I think I hadn't made it into Wisconsin yet. I mean into Minnesota yet, but I'm in Wisconsin. I got a delivery in Minnesota in the morning, and then I pick up again there, and then I'm heading to Pennsylvania, and I'm, you know, fighting weather or trying to avoid weather.
Yeah, that's what that's
it's
how we started.
It's supposed to be a winter storm all across. Yeah, so I totally understand.
Yeah, we was talking about that at the beginning of the show. So what about you, Deuce? You're not gonna get caught up in none of that weather?
I don't want to be. I don't want to be. What do you call that? Where I'm, you know, egotistical and say no, I'm not, because I do go back to work Sunday. I'm home right now. But there's a chance that I can, because I run. I mean, we run a lot of Chicago. We got a plant in Chicago. Lindy is all over. So I never know day to day. I could come in and they be like, "Hey, look, we need you to go here," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, you sending me right into the snow territory." But okay, whatever. You know, so I just never know. I'm kind of like Pat, but I want to put that out there. That's one of the things that I've been looking into. Like, I've conformed, and
you can always say no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can always say no. But I'm also realizing, as an
Not just
individual, the
no,
lifestyle.
but no because it's you know, because of your safety. You know what I'm saying?
That too, but I'm not even like looking at that. My thing is, like, I know where I want to be in my life financially. I know the lifestyle that I want to lead, and I know that in order for me to get there, there's some sacrifices, and that to me being back in that owner seat again. Pat, I would love to speak with you on a couple of things, man. Like, just trying to pick your brains.
I can get you in with my company, no problem. And you know, you know, where put you in a position to have that discussion. I think you might have to work with them for you know, 90 days before they, you know, if you want to purchase from them. But you know, I don't know what direction you want to go in.
My goal is to come in with my truck, for real. Not trying to cut
Okay.
you off. I've been working on my credit and doing some things, and I, I've been paying on a loan that I took just for my credit. So my goal is to get it to
Well,
where they like, okay, look here, you can get this $30,000 loan, and I want to put that all towards a truck.
well,
Again,
I'm gonna tell you, we could talk off. You know, you can get my number from Chaka or call me. We can have a conversation or whatever. But you know, there's ways of doing this stuff without. Because this last one, my first truck I bought on my own. This second one, the one that I'm driving right now, I made a deal with the company, and I didn't use my credit. I didn't use like I'm just paying it off. You know what
okay,
I'm saying? I pretty much own it into like I think about it before the end of March, two
that's awesome,
years.
bro.
I made a 2 year deal, but like my commitment to getting it all done. I don't know if everybody's willing to do what I did, but you know, that's something for you to think about as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Damn, man, your payments had to be huge.
Huh?
Did
it's
you
not so
double?
much as
Did you
huge,
make
but
double
the amount of
payments?
money we make on a weekly basis affords you to be able to pay off a truck so soon. Man, look,
Did you make
before
double
Pat,
payments?
before Pat speak on that, can I say this here? I thought about this shit because I've leased a truck from a company. I leased my first truck was $125,000. I had that truck paid for in full in 3 years. So if you take that same amount of money on a $200,000 house, just figure yourself paying a hundred thousand. Let's just say 110. Be easy on the math. $110,000 a year. You can have a house paid off in 2 years, bro. I had a year. My truck was 125,000 plus sales tax. It came out to $132,000. I paid that truck off, and literally 2 years. It was 2 years, 11 and a half months. I had that truck paid for. So I done the math on it. If I bought a house, a fixer upper, I could have that house paid for in a year with the same amount of money I was paying on that truck. So what I'm saying to you, and I'm not trying to make brother Pat situation make light of his situation because it's a sacrifice all across the board, and I don't care who looks at it. But if you're willing to grind it out and make that sacrifice, you can buy damn near a brand new truck for 120, 125, 100, $140,000 and have it paid off in a year and a half if you're willing to make that sacrifice and grind and you know how to pick and choose your runs to not
Yeah.
only pay that truck but put money in your pocket to provide at home. That's
Well,
all I'm saying, and I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
shut
tell
up.
I'm
What
gonna tell
about
you.
land?
Yeah, that I mean either one of those, but I mean I'm gonna tell you, $400 a week for 100 weeks, and you get it's a used truck, but they make sure it's in good shape. You get a warranty with it and all, so you're paying $40,000 for a truck, no taxes, no nothing. You just paying for the truck, and of course they help you. Like they pretty much like running all of your business stuff for you, so that all you gotta do is worry about driving. Go and pick up loads and delivering them, and you take home the majority of the take. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it was a no brainer for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't really into no brand new truck where I know some people paying, 25 or some $3,000 a month, where I'm still only I'm paying half of that per month, and I'm still making as much, if not more, than a lot of these guys with these brand new trucks. You know what I'm saying? So, and it allows me to invest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I took the sacrifice, like I took the sacrifice of, you know, just past year not to even have an apartment, a brand new car, like all these different things because of the, this plan I'm having, because I can retire early if I really stay focused.
Exactly. Exactly. Me, on the other hand, I got to worry about, well, my goal this year is to get into a home because I pay too much for an apartment. But that's a conversation that you and I'll have. I'll get your number
Yeah.
from my brother, man, and everything. But as well as you, man, I'm gonna catch out. I'm gonna go lay down because my wife. I'm not gonna lie, my wife is depending on me to get up at about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it's already after 2. So I'm gonna go lay down and try to get me a quick nap. So
Yeah. All right, man. Well, next time, Chaka,
Peace and love, man. Thank y'all for
peace and
being here.
love. Always,
same
brother.
here, bro.
Yeah, man. So, tomorrow, man, we'll pick it up. If you can kind of give me an idea of time, because I mean, I think at some point the later might be better,
Later
because
might be better because you get to
at
take a
least
nap.
it gives me a little time to, knock some of that, shake some of that off of me, shake
Yeah.
some of the day off. You know what I'm saying?
So but I shoot for 1 a.m.
All right.
What the other question you had was, how should we qualify an expert as an expert?
Yeah. Well,
Maybe
that
we'll
that
talk about that tomorrow.
okay. Well, that's cool. We'll do that tomorrow then. I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, there's somebody who's a heavy spokesman for the CDC that has been listed as an
An
expert.
expert.
That has, I mean, we really look at it, everything has been a failure. Like the people who's supposed to be the
What makes him an
vaccine.
expert?
Yeah, what really makes him an expert over anybody else and all of the other scientific information that is available, that we're taking this one opinion and running with it, and we're not really seeing anything as a better result, like things are worse than last year. But that's kind of, and we can make it more general. It doesn't have to be just about him, but what really qualifies an expert to be an expert?
That's a
I
good
don't
question.
know, but these chicks that Chaka putting on here, goddamn, look here, man. Hey man, I'm finna get off here, bro. I love y'all, man. Y'all, hey Pat, be careful out there on that road, bro.
Always,
I'll
yeah,
be back
man.
out there Sunday evening, back grinding myself. So yeah, man, be careful. And I'm striving to do my best to be on here later on tonight, man. So I
All right,
say later
man.
on tonight because I'm trying to keep a normalcy, because normally the overnight guys like, yeah, tomorrow, and people like, tomorrow, your tomorrow is already today, but so
Yeah,
I'm trying to say tonight. But yeah, man, I'll try to do my best to be on here tonight. I can't make no promises,
Yeah, it's
but
all
I'll try
good,
to be on
man.
here tonight, bro. Like
for
for
sure,
real.
man. We're glad to have you when we get you.
Yep.
Definitely, man. Well, y'all be safe, man. Peace and love. Love y'all, man. Be careful. I'm finna go try to get some shut eye, and I'll holler at y'all later on tonight.
For
All
sure,
right,
man. I'm
man.
out
Peace
too.
and love.
Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right, y'all. I guess I'm gonna wrap it. Lord, Lord, Lord. I'm single, y'all, by the way. Need to get my teeth fixed, I know. I'm a nice guy, though. Really nice guy. Ask all my exes. No complaints from them. I'm usually the one that does the breaking up, by the way. Believe it or not. I don't know, I'm picky. This bitch right here is always fucking everywhere on my timeline. Anyways, peace and love, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You know, I hope you learned something. You know, we want you to be an activist. It's all about caring about your neighbor. They keep on separating us and they keep on controlling us. And they're making things more dystopian, more and more dystopian, where we can just be helping each other and rely on each other. And we can have much better lives, much more fulfilling, satisfying lives. Instead of being on the hamster wheel for a corporation that don't give a fuck about you, will wipe you, throw you away like toilet paper. But if you work for your neighbor, if you work for your community, they remember, they love you, they care about you, what you do matters to your community. Doesn't matter to the corporations, they don't care. The profit model cannot be, overall. Everything there can't be a profit model in everything. Some things have to be for investment, investments in services, investments in infrastructure, investments in people, investment in institutions and education for the future. So you reap benefits in the future. It's like planting seeds. You reap what you sow. If you just planting seeds of profit, then the day comes where that profit doesn't work and the whole thing falls apart. Anyways, peace and love. Thank y'all for joining and engage in the content. Look it up yourself. Anything you hear that we talk about that you find interesting, go look it up yourself when you have time, because that's what happens. You get activated by being active. And just, you think it's not doing nothing. Oh, just looking up a story, it's not a big deal. I'm not being an activist by doing that, but you are going down that road. Because once you become more aware of what's going on in the world, you're going to feel compelled to do something about it. And just talking about it, just looking it up, just knowing about it. This is the revolution. This is the revelations. Let's go. Peace and love, y'all. Thank y'all for joining.
Dime qué tú quieres, papi.
I really like this channel ad when I made this one. I need to make an image of this. I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Because I thought you would have, maybe.
Yeah. Woke up.
I don't know why I like that one so much. It came out perfect.
Oh my God. Why is it? No.
Choose your destiny.
You're not ugly.
I looked weird. Deformed.
What's up, man? I'm hearing y'all niggas over here talk. I was listening to that shit, man. I'm hearing these niggas. I'm like, God damn, man.
Yeah, the narrative.
Because I thought you would have, maybe.